What up, bros? Welcome to another Brograph Brocast. I'm Dave.
I'm Matt, and joining us today, our good friend from across the pond, Mr. Phil Roberts, also known as his AKA online persona,
Hello.
Mr. Raid Zero.
Hello, everybody.
And Brograph is a supplement to our site, brograph.com, which is a motion graphics tutorial site with tutorials, plugins, podcasts, and other MoGraph stuff. And on the show, we talk about everything ranging from motion graphics to Cinema 4D, After Effects, plugins, render engines, doing business, doing taxes, being a contractor, or working for the man. And you can email us, brograph@brograph.com, and let us know what you think about the show. Send your comments, queries, suggestions, and grievances.
Suggestions.
So Phil and Raid Zero are both here today.
Yeah.
And
We got half the show each.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll split it. Yeah. And we got a lot to talk about. It's going to be a short show.
You guys do.
Actually, it's probably going to be a 3-hour show.
I'm going to sit back and just let you guys handle this all, because y'all have been hanging out for like the past 2 weeks together.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to sit back and daydream about my new dog.
Well, I'm going to start first things first with the week wrap-up. And
Do it.
let's talk about Sunday.
What happened Sunday?
Sunday.
The Super Bowl?
Shh, you want to get sued?
You
I
want
mean-
to get sued?
It's the big game. Duh. No. So
Yeah.
here's the thing.
The Superb Owl.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But we were at Barton's, had already been chewed for half of it, at least. Then the two of us went to some other things. And so that was kind of fun. Got to catch up with Barton, Lance, Houdini, Mark, all the other guys. And we were kind of waiting around for this big Beeples thing.
Well, no, okay, here's the thing.
But we didn't know what it was going to be.
Yeah, but Super Bowl for us, if you say Beeple, we're like, okay, yeah, it's amazing. But you also have to keep in mind that a lot of us do some amazing work, but it's literally just a background element, you know?
Oh, sure. I wasn't sure what to look for. I just wanted to know what I was
I'm pretty sure it's
looking
just some of the background stuff, which is cool.
I don't think
But you
we
also have to
still
keep in
even
mind,
know what it
for the
was.
Superb Owl, inside the place, there was stuff up above that we couldn't see.
Right.
Yeah,
you know?
so they were filming Maroon 5 on the stage, but up above there's a huge circular screen that I know Ryan Summers has done a lot of work for, setting up the,
Yeah. And some people,
DK stuff.
at least one person I saw in the Slack worked on it as well.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
it's super
Something.
cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But in
Superb
terms of
Owl
what we
was
could
just
see,
stupid.
was just the ends of the tiers where there's just a really slim kind of video.
And it was really cool because they had this ultra wide angle lens on it too whenever they showed it. So you could see the big ring or whatever.
Mhm.
But the big game was kind of a disappointment.
It's boring.
It was really boring.
It was like
really
the
boring.
man. Even the commercials were terrible.
Yeah.
It's like what? I don't know. I always found that Super Bowl commercials were they were going to be the cream of the crop, funniest commercials that you would ever see on TV.
Yeah.
Right. But now it's just everyone's taking themselves so seriously.
Everyone's too afraid to offend someone.
That could be the case. That could be the case.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's possible.
Just throw some poop jokes in there, and those are the best. You know,
Poop and fart jokes.
poop and fart jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to basics with poops and farts.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty
I don't
bad. Yeah. Is it 2017? Because I literally can't even. It was that bad.
So fired.
I'd rather look at Shaggy memes.
What? Okay, I don't get this.
I don't
What
either.
are Shaggy memes?
They're
Is
terrible.
it new?
Yeah, Shaggy
Okay.
memes? Yeah.
I've seen a few, but I will
Shaggy.
say
Not that Shaggy,
it was-
but Shaggy from
Right.
Scooby-Doo.
it wasn't me, not
the
him.
bombastic. Yeah.
Right.
The
No,
non-bombastic.
right. Anyway, I was very disappointed that they didn't do all of Sweet Victory. I understand why. It was nice of them to give a little throw out, shout out or whatever. But they should have done at least sung some of it.
Well,
But they didn't.
I'm not clear.
Sweet
what this
Victory?
Can you explain the
the
SpongeBob
Sponge-
thing?
okay, so SpongeBob SquarePants, right? The I think it was the creator or whatever died this past year,
right?
And so there was this big online thing on the Bikini Bottom feed, the subreddit or whatever, to get them to play Sweet Victory at the Super Bowl, you know? And so it was cool of them to actually put like a reference to it, but it would have been cooler had they actually played it, you know? So now the Bikini Bottom feed on Twitter is like all up in arms or whatever because they didn't even play it. Well, whatever.
Well, at least they did homage to it.
Yeah, they didn't even have to.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But it's like,
see,
whatever.
Offended no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Dan Marino said Shaggy's power memes came from a Dragon Ball Z audio mashup of Shaggy beating up some goons.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, see, Kevin, you're right. The Dallas Stars did it right.
What did they do?
Because they played the whole thing during halftime.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well,
they did
it would
right.
have been better than the halftime show. That's for true.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Nothing will ever beat the Michael Jackson from 1993 Super Bowl.
I don't know.
It's
Left
so
Shark
good.
was pretty good.
Left Shark was so... Yeah. There's just a lot of good memes
At
from
least,
that.
right, but at least it was a little bit entertaining in that it was kind of off the wall. You know, this is just like, I saw that one Twitter post somebody posted, like, imagine paying $3,000 for a Maroon 5 concert and a field goal.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. That's funny.
So
yeah.
that's pretty much what it was. And they don't even get to watch the commercials.
Right.
So
yeah, it's really dumb.
So other things from the week. Thanks, by the way, Matt, for the other day playing Switch with my daughter.
You're welcome.
Because she really, really wanted to play. She's like, Liam's on. He's playing such and such. I'm like, but I don't have that game. But she texted me to tell me Liam was playing online. And I was
really funny.
All right. Well, once she saw you were online playing Super Smash Brothers, it was so funny because we were on two phones at the same time trying to like figure out how to make it work because I wasn't with her. And she was really happy though that she got to play some Smash Brothers and Mario Kart.
Yeah, she kept walking off the screen. But that's okay. You got to learn. I finally I'm up to like 56 characters unlocked now, which is pretty good.
I thought there were only 26 characters.
No, I'll give you that.
Okay.
No. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's like 70 or 75 or something like that. I've got a ways to go. I don't even have Dr. Mario yet. Gotta get Dr. Mario.
There's the plant thingy. There's a new.
Yeah, I got Piranha Plant.
Yeah, Piranha.
I got that.
You have to like
that
download
one came with
it or something.
Yeah. You get emailed like a digital code. Yeah. See, Billy says only 20 something left. Yeah. Pickle Nick and I have been playing it occasionally, once we get our day done.
And you're pretty good at the one, what is it called? Sunshine, right? Sunshine?
Yeah,
Shine.
Shine. It's the Mario Kart, like the battle version, Shine. Oh man, it's so much fun.
You're so good
like
at it.
You basically you just chase after people and then it's basically capture the flag.
Well, me and David Ari and
I gotta say,
EJ were
this
getting
all comes
really,
back,
really pissed off because we could not even touch you.
This all comes back to how good I am at capture the flag. And the secret to capture the flag is to be completely to not be the popular kid in school. All right? Because if people don't know you exist, they don't know you're on the other team. And I had this happen to me when I was in elementary school. Like, I was not a cool kid. No one knew who I was. So it was very easy to go up to the front of the line and then turn around and pretend I'm on the other team. I did that 3 times in one game. From that point on, everyone knew my name.
So then how could you play? Because then they knew your name.
Yeah, but it's true. It's true. After that, I was known in the school as the king of capture the flag.
He protect, he attack, he get his shine back.
Oh my gosh!
Right?
So dumb. Right.
And speaking,
so it's just going to be a show full of really bad dad jokes coming from
memes,
Dave
and terrible memes. If you follow Fortnite on Switch, you'll also see that the Mr. Mello, Mr. Marshmello, Marshmello. He's a DJ. He's not DJ Marshmello. He's Marshmello. And apparently there's no W at the end. He had a concert in Fortnite this weekend. It had been the talk of the school, according to my daughter. Everybody was talking about the fact that they were going to do a special thing where you can't die in there. It's a special game mode, and you go in. We checked it out ahead of time. They had a stage built and everything, and then they did this concert in there, and millions of people showed up. Millions of
there weren't
people.
like a million people in that one place, was there?
Well, they had to distribute it. I think it was still only 50 to a deal, but literally millions of people watched this concert. It was history. Cool. And you're like, whatever, kids these days, but that's where it's going. Got to keep up with the technology.
Would have been cooler had it been
jump in the water. VR. Don't forget to feed Bruiser.
What are you talking about?
Oh. You never watched Flight of the Navigator? Man, that was too inside, I guess. Okay.
No, I watched Flight of the Navigator a lot. I just don't have it memorized like you do.
Oh, and David Ariev actually showed me this video that somebody did that was done in Octane. It was for Marshmello. And so I'll have a link to that in the show notes. See, that's how it's relevant.
You know, have you heard of a guy called Stephen Messing? I think he presented NAB or SIGGRAPH in about 2015.
I think that's who it was.
Yeah, like he used to do stuff for movies. So he did stuff for like Avatar, and he did stuff for Star Trek. When those films came out, like matte paintings and like digital set extensions and all that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. He's really, really good. And then all of a sudden, it just seems to have like dropped off. Yeah, he's then totally dropped off. And then all of a sudden, all he's posting is just this Marshmello guy all the time. he must be just his guy.
Yeah.
I'll post a link to this video in the show notes.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Pickle Nick. His first like official like render dropped today, right? He got picked up for like a buddy of his was doing a Kickstarter video. So like for the past couple weeks, he's been working on this Kickstarter video, and I've just been kind of like jumping in and helping whenever I can, whenever he needs help. But yeah, it officially dropped today. You guys go on to Kickstarter. What is it called? It's called A Pound of Flesh. So they just started the Kickstarter. They got funded in like 10 minutes. So super cool. It's for like role playing games and stuff. But yeah, you can see his videos. It's super exciting. Like, all done in Redshift too, which was great.
So I got a text, and I had to deal with a parenting issue the other day. And this parenting issue is something that I got a little advice on from Phil, and it is that my daughter wanted to start a YouTube channel.
Oh.
And so it was like,
I don't even let my kid watch YouTube. Like, I let him watch rides. Yeah, dude, because like, okay, so one day he was watching YouTube, and like he was watching all the people dressed up as characters and stuff. And one day it was Spider-Man pooping fire. And it's like, what are you watching? This has no educational value at all. And so like I get mad when he watches YouTube. Like I'm like, you can watch rides from Disney World, but you cannot watch Spider-Man pooping fire.
Meanwhile, you're watching Spider-Man pooping fire GIFs on Reddit.
Right?
Yeah, constantly.
That's okay.
Chip off the old block.
I'm above 18 years old. I can watch those things. I told him he can start watching them when he's 14.
Yeah, and because that kind of stuff just goes right down the rabbit hole to like furries and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so my kids have an app called YouTube Kids, and it's basically like just YouTube, but it's
that's just as bad. It's just as bad. Like, why do I want my kid to watch like a 20-minute video of someone taking things out of eggs? It's
kids
so
watch
dumb.
So weird things.
And like
they'll literally watch like
whatever
other kids playing toys. Yeah.
It teaches kids about gambling. Like that. Like it, honestly, and I was talking to Nick about this the other day, how much I absolutely just despise a lot of these play to win loot games and stuff. And also with the YouTube videos and the magic eggs. Well, there's this dumb kid named Ryan who's on YouTube that all the kids watch, right? And he's got all these games that he plays and stuff. Well, he's now selling this magical like surprise egg, at Target. And so you open it up and you just get random stuff. But it's like, I don't like buying something that I don't know what it is, And so you buy the loot boxes and you get the eggs. Sorry, I'm being like, back in my day, we didn't have.
Grant says, it's the
dopamine. Transformers is the first thing where they made the cartoon and then they made the toys to come out afterwards. It's like this is just the new form of that.
It makes me so mad that but it makes me mad that you don't know what you're going to buy, what you're buying. My kid loved Mashems for a while. They're just these stupid little water-filled things, and he'd get so upset and he'd start crying when he didn't get the right Mashem. I'm like, I can't go and spend $500 on shitty toys that you're just gonna destroy. And
have you seen those those Lego? They do like a Lego in a packet, and it'll be like Harry Potter, and you get people there just standing there feeling them,
just to figure it out.
Trying to figure it out.
And LOLs are the big thing right now too.
Surprise lols or whatever.
Lols.
Yeah, and it's it's seriously gambling for kids, and it teaches them that if you just keep throwing money at it, that eventually you'll get what you want. And it's dumb.
Yeah, we were at CVS the other day and she wanted one. It's like $10.
Yeah. If I were in Congress or whatever, that would be the very first thing that I push.
It's not illegal.
Is that you cannot. It needs to be though, because
if there were a law, it would be against it.
It is basically gambling. You are straight up gambling.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I mean, just look at you in the emoji blitz.
Right, but here's with emoji blitz. I don't play the way you're supposed to.
You cheat.
I freaking cheat like crazy because I found a way to get around all the BS that they put on you. I'll spend time playing the game in order to get some different coins, but then I change my date on it so that I can keep spinning the free prize wheel so that I can get whatever I want. And then I use 2 phones in order to get the correct diamond box that I want. It is a lot of energy.
Anytime.
And what sucks about it is that I can't just buy the ones that I want. I've got to go through and I got to hustle like this in order to get the new ones that come out. Because now I've got them all and I've got to keep them up. And it's terrible.
You got to catch them all. See,
it's the worst thing in the world.
Meanwhile, the dog's died because it's been 3 days.
Yeah.
It's okay, Pixel. We can do this together.
Yeah.
We'll get through this.
Yeah, Kevin was talking about Ryan's toy review. He's 7 years old. He makes $22 million a year.
Yeah.
And that's what my daughter and her friends are all talking about. And a bunch of them have YouTube channels. So I'm sitting there asking Phil what some advice was for that. Because you were like, oh, my son has a YouTube channel. And
yeah, so Kane he watched this kid called Evan. He has Evan Tube his thing is called, and he basically does toy reviews, and he's been doing it since he was 7 years old, and now he's 11. And his parents have literally gone full time, quit their jobs. They got a huge house out in somewhere like Colorado or something, and they just get sent all these toys because they just get millions and millions of hits on their channel. And Kane was like, I really want to do it. And I was like, you know what? I've got a camera. I had a MacBook at the time. I can just do it all on iMovie. If you want to make a, we'll get some Lego. And if you want to do it, you can do it. So I set him up a YouTube channel. It's called Kane Tube, Kane Tube. And then just let him, and he was really good at it. But the thing is, he hasn't kept it up. I knew he wouldn't, but see,
that's the thing with kids.
I needed to let him, because he would have pestered me. So I was like, yep, let's do it. And then basically that just kind of fizzled out. And it's the videos are still up there, but he's had quite a few hits. We did a day out to a trampoline park, and we just filmed that, and then I just put it together. You just like literally put it in order and just throw it into iMovie.
Well, I found a really good system for this because, first of all, oh, and by the way, I liked your story about how I think he was in the middle of one of his videos or something, and all of it because weren't both your sons in the video or something, and one of them.
Oh yeah. So
pops his
they're
head
both.
in and what did he say?
So Brandon, he was I think he was like 5 at the time, and he was like, I really want to be in the video, and we got this ice, like a Frosty the Snowman sort of ice maker, and we were just like, oh, let's do this. And Brandon really wanted to have one, so he was like, do you want to be in the video? He's like, yeah. And like he was so wooden. Like Kane's like really good in front of the camera, super natural. Like, but Brandon was like super wooden. And he's like, Kane passes him something. And he looks directly at the camera and goes, "Thank you, brother."
It's like he moves into the screen like.
It's so funny, yeah.
Thank you, brother, and like moves back out.
It was so funny.
So I came up with a system because, okay, first of all, Emily wants me to make her an opening graphic. She wants an opening animation, and she wants the song. And
another one of these clients coming in wanting free work,
free stuff. Yeah. She wants to collaborate. I'm like,
it's great for your exposure. She'll pay you an exposure dollars.
Yeah, she told me it was good for exposure. But I haven't done that yet. I told her I would at some point, but I just want her to see if she likes it. So I'm not going to sit here and edit a bunch of stuff for her or do any of that stuff. So I was thinking, what is the best way to go about this to allow her to post herself? Mm-hmm, and so I decided this weekend I was going to teach her how to edit on her phone or her iPad. And so this is a great solution for this. Adobe Rush.
Right.
Because everything that you do in Adobe Rush automatically uploads to the computer. So I actually had my computer open, and as she's editing on her phone, it's showing up on my computer on the fly.
That's cool.
I can see what she's doing. So it's uploading all the stuff. I can see what she's doing. If she's having a problem with it, I can just hop on my computer and help her. Mm-hmm. And plus at the end, it compresses the whole thing, and it's pretty good for what it is. Like it has the tracks and titling and transitions and all that kind of stuff. And at the end, you can tell it to compress it, export it out, and automatically upload it to YouTube. And so I showed her how to do it one time, and then she did a second one all on her own, and it's fine. She's able to do it on her own. So my thought on the deal is, if you can show your kid how to do it, of course you have to have the sit down, you have to have the talk, you have to talk about comments and strangers and what kind of information, and not giving out your address, all that, all of that stuff. But once they do it, if they're able to do it on their own and they have enough drive to do it on their own, then you kind of know, okay, well, my kid is actually into this, because there's nothing worse than like it becoming a chore, It's like, I'm going to give you the tools you need to do it. I'm going to show you how to do it. And if you have enough motivation, you'll keep up with it. And then maybe we'll go from there. And it's really funny to hear even what kids are talking about. She was texting, 'cause she has it's not a phone that's activated, but you can get an old phone and put iCloud on it. So all of her friends,
I never thought about that,
have iCloud. And so she texts me all the time with like this dead iPhone. And so she's texting her friends, and her friend was like, well, we need to get AMD, I don't know what it was called, or ANG activations to sponsor our thing. And she's like 8, and she's like talking about, we need to get such and such to sponsor our deal, because otherwise we can't show toys on YouTube. I'm like, okay, well, first of all, that's really crazy that you're talking about sponsorships, but no, the toys.
Secondly, you're wrong. Let me teach you about how this works.
No, I said you can show off any toy you want, and you got to do that first before you got to get your numbers up before you can get the activations. She's like, I want a custom URL. I'm like, you can't do that until you have 100 subscribers. So now she's watching her subscriber numbers. It's interesting.
Yes. So we got the custom URL.
This isn't anything that parents have had to deal with in the past. This is kind of a new area. Yeah. So
new ground.
If you told my parents that that's what I would be dealing with when I became a parent. They'd have no idea what I was talking about. The internet wasn't even around yet. So it's like one of those things where there needs to be a guide on this somewhere. It
was more like, be home for dinner. That was it, pretty much.
Right.
That was my experience.
Hey, where are you? I haven't seen you in 6 hours.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Back in my day.
Yeah. So
my kid had his 100th day of school, and so they dress like they're 100 years old. Yeah. And we put like this fake white mustache on and fake white eyebrows and stuff, and I made him say, back in my day we didn't have cell phones and Facebooks. Oh, and he was trying to say, I said, okay, now say, hey whippersnappers, and he goes, hey whipper flappers.
Whipper flappers.
Had to walk to school uphill both ways.
I had to walk across the room to change the channel. You have learned, Matt, while I was gone, you were learning more about character generation and sculpting and retopologizing.
I've been playing around. Yeah. So this is, I don't know. You know how when you get into Cinema 4D and you start out, or any program, and you're just like, ooh, what does this section of like drop down menus do? And you're like, I don't want to touch that.
Right.
And that's been character stuff for me. The little character tag, anything in character, I don't want to touch with. I haven't wanted to deal with. But like Nick and I were chatting. We wrote a script a long time ago and like did all the voices and everything for a cartoon that we wanted to do. And so with Nick coming over and like, learning and stuff, I was like, I think it's time. I think it's time for us to do this. So I started like learning. I love sculpting. I think sculpting in cinema is super fun, and it's very relaxing, and it's neat to see something go from just a cube or a sphere into something really pretty. So I was like, all right, I'm going to start sculpting this stuff. I'm going to build the characters. Nick, you start learning how to rig. And so he's been doing these rigging tutorials, and I've been doing some sculpting tutorials. And what's cool about sculpting is like 90% of what you're going to do is pull and grab, like that's 90% of what you're going to do. And then occasionally you'll use like the knife tool and the pinch tool and stuff like that. And pull, grab, and smooth. And like that's most of what you'll do in order to get things into the right shape, and then you start going into it. So I was going, just for those who haven't done any sculpting, there's not a lot of tutorials on the workflow for it. And so like I reached out to a bunch of people, and really like, so a good workflow for sculpting is you start off and you sculpt like a generic shape first, like the generic face that you want. And then you can go through and using the polygon pen, you can go through and retopo this. And there's some really good, I need to do a tutorial on it, because really there's not a lot of really good tutorials that teach you the correct way to do retopo. Like you want to make sure that your topology follows along, especially with, how you're going to UV stuff, so like if you've got a hairline and you're actually going to turn the hair into a specific thing, like being able to make sure that hairline goes on with like the actual topology, or like the eyes and stuff like that. You want to, I don't know. It's hard to explain. Anyway, so go.
Yeah, you're gonna
first
have
you
to
go through.
You're going to have to do the tutorial.
I will
to show.
Yeah,
for sure.
This is a great workflow that you're working on, though.
So you go through, you create the basic shape first, before you go through and you make all your big details and stuff. And then you go through, you retopo it. There's a specific way, especially with faces, that you got to retopo. And one thing that I didn't realize, because I spent a whole day trying to retopo the Stimpy that I did, the best way to do it is big pieces, like big topology, and then you throw it in a sub-D surface, and then it gets smooth,
right?
Or you go through and then you do all your details. So as long as you've got like a low poly mesh of your faces or your character or whatever, that's the way that you want to work. and then you go through and you re-sculpt it with all the details. So what's cool about Cinema, and I'm sure there's a way to do this in ZBrush or the other ones, but like you can go through, you can take this low poly mesh, you subdivide it down using your sculpting tools, and then you go through and you do all the fine, no, I do not put in a volume mesher after creating a base with
that would be...
Now, I mean, and I thought about this. You could actually go through and create like the generic shapes in a volume mesher and then retopologize that. That's another way of doing it if you don't want to mess with any of the sculpting stuff.
But you do the UVs this way, right?
Well, I try and make sure that the UVs are set up. Yeah. So, but I was using 3D Coat for UVing, and I'll get to that. So what's cool in Cinema, you go through, so you take your generic mesh, you subdivide it down a couple of times in your sculpting tools, and then you go through and really do all your fine details, like the lines in the face, around the nose, your lips, all the creases and stuff. And something that I had seen before, and this is like very prominent in a lot of ZBrush sketch sculpts and stuff, is the brushes. And the brushes are absolutely incredible, and I didn't realize how easy it was. And when you have Cinema, there's a whole sculpting set of brushes in there. So if you need like reptile skin or some organic bricks, they've even I saw one with buttons. So like you can actually sculpt
like,
buttons,
thread seams.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So like all that stuff, you can go through and you can use a brush in order to do all of this. It's so super cool. So then you go through and you create all that, and then you bake out basically a displacement map and a normal map, and you put that onto your low poly mesh, and then it turns out just looking absolutely gorgeous on a super low poly mesh. No. It's absolutely insane.
Steven asked if you've ever used Medium or anything. I've played with Medium a lot.
I've played with it. Yeah, I've played with it, but like I like the idea of sculpting in like a VR medium, but I really like just I wear glasses, and my glasses get fogged up really quick when I'm doing VR stuff. They need a fan in there or something.
Right.
Needs breathability. And I can't do that for hours and hours on end.
I saw Tokyo Megaplex was doing some stuff in it the other day. I think he posted something.
Yeah.
Billy just mentioned Ranger and Fox's new reel, by the way. I forgot to put that in the notes, but they sent that to us, I think, on Facebook the other day.
Yeah.
So check that out.
I then take I can also take, if you want to like actually do the UVs and stuff, do that before you do the super duper like whatchamacallit, the super detailed version. So after you do the retopo, if you want to go in and do UVs, take it into either whatever Cinema's UVing thing, or I just took it into 3D Coat because 3D Coat is super easy, and I hope one day that Cinema becomes as good as 3D Coat. But yeah, 3D Coat is pretty awesome. It literally you can UV stuff in like a minute or two. Like really complex UVs, and just have it done, and it's super super easy.
Get that tutorial,
I like it,
bro.
I know. I'll do it.
Hey,
I'll do it eventually.
You can do the green screen and everything.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Josh Foster sent in an email. This is regarding Fusion and Resolve. This is some clarification, I think. Fusion and Resolve used to be standalone applications. Back in April, it was announced by Blackmagic they were building Fusion into Resolve 15. I'm guessing you guys purchased Fusion 9 around the time this transition took place. If you bought Fusion 9 Studio after April, you could have bought Resolve 15 for $300 and gotten Resolve and Fusion instead of purchasing Fusion 9 for the same price. It's really confusing because they still offer Fusion 9.
Is it the full version of Fusion, or is it like a dumbed down version of Fusion? Like, that's what I don't understand.
I think it's the full version. Mm-hmm. But it's still on their website standalone, so it's easy to make the mistake. Also, thanks a ton for the heads up on the algorithmic news. I haven't had an Adobe subscription for a couple of years now, so I just bought some perpetual licenses for the latest versions of Painter and Designer before they switch up the pricing model.
That's interesting. I don't think I know anyone who who does not have an Adobe license.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Word.
All right. So, Phil, tell us about your office. You're going through some.
Yeah, so I thought I'd spruce it up a bit. Now I'm spending a lot more time at home. I thought I'd invest in some. So I got some of those Philips Hue light bulbs, so I can just change the mood anytime I want. I got a few. I got a. Let me just grab
isometric painting you got behind you here.
Yeah, so that is.
Well, where's Waldo?
It's from a guy called eBoy, and I've been following his stuff for a while. Like if I just do that, you can probably see it a bit better. But it's like he does like kind of this real fine pixel art. He still does it in Microsoft Paint.
Is that the guy? Did he do the Silicon Valley opening?
He may have worked on it, but that's the exact site. That
kind of that same look.
Literally, the exact same look. It's all isometric, and he does all the major cities in the world. So he said like London, New York, Paris, Berlin, and Baltimore. But for some reason,
cool.
Chad Ashley said that his dongle for Fusion worked for Resolve.
Okay,
so maybe that's
so we just need to download Resolve. That's good.
Okay,
I'll do that after the show.
Sounds good.
I got this cool little
So tell everybody how that works.
So it's just literally.
What is it exactly?
It's
for those who aren't watching the video.
Oh, for the It's a 16. It's a 16 by 16 pixel picture frame, and you can control it via Bluetooth on your phone. And it has like a community of people that make them, and you can make them animated.
And you can just draw them on your phone?
You can just draw them on your phone, yeah.
Do you get live output onto it, or do you have to?
It's live. Yeah, it is. It's live, nice. and you can connect them up as well. So you can get you could get 16 frames and have a huge pixelated picture, which is pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
And they're only it was only like £25. So
that's pretty heavy.
$18.
Oh my gosh. Dad jokes. Stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
25 quid.
There you go. That's like the equivalent of saying what?
Bucks.
20,
yeah. Like saying 25 bucks.
Yeah. I gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm learning. Sage yesterday said, I know you guys have a full show, but the sub just passed. This is the Reddit sub. Just passed 30,000 active subscribers. He said,
that is super awesome.
Worth be a mention.
Wow. Super awesome.
Worth a mention. We also had 190,000 page views last month, 58,000 unique visitors, which are both the highest for the sub in a month. And out of those, did he say how many posts?
I don't know.
Unique visitors, yeah, thousands of posts. Most of them being, which render engine should I use?
It's funny. Oh.
All right, let's talk about Windows Update errors, because there's some updates affecting a lot of different things.
There?
Well, it's affecting Phil's mic. That was part of our technical problem yesterday, besides repairs going too long that were noisy over here. Yeah. And speaking of which, your mic is out. Wow.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah, cool.
You just muted it because you had to cough.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Be careful with that. I have done that many a time before.
Yeah.
Well, at least we know that it's still working so far, but only because you had to go to a completely different computer.
Right. Oh, yeah. And a completely different mic as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I bought a brand new Razer Siren Elite. So it's like their newest out microphone. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to be doing some recording like in the near future. I'm going to get a nice new microphone. Sounds cool. And tried it in Audition, worked fine. And then when it was time to phone you guys on Skype, all of a sudden it works for a minute or 30 seconds and then switches to my webcam. And we literally, I spent so long just trying to troubleshoot that. We were trying to troubleshoot it, and it seems to be something to do with either the driver on the camera or the driver in Skype from the new update.
And there's new Skype updates that affected Matt as well. Like you said, you can't close Skype at all?
There's 2 Skypes now. Like, I've got one that I've downloaded previously, and then there's one that just sits in my stupid dock. So if I go to the one that's sitting in the stupid dock and I don't have the other Skype open, it won't let me see my video feed at all. Yeah. And like, there's no way to shut it down. It's not even in Task Manager.
It's
weird. Really stupid.
They're trying to integrate it.
On my laptop, I have 2 versions of Skype where there's one that's like kind of like the little kind of cloud logo, and then I have the square one, which is from the Windows Store, which like I don't know, like, which is weird. I don't have that option on my main machine, but yeah.
Billy says there's a program, there's a Skype the program and Skype the Windows app.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
but like,
I've got
I should
Skype
be able to
Preview, too.
shut down. I should be able to shut down the Windows app.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Weird.
It's dumb.
And the other things it's been affecting too is, I guess,
Stop trying to make Skype happen.
Yeah, I know, right? There's Nvidia updates, Nvidia driver updates that I guess go along with these Windows updates, and those Nvidia updates are affecting Octane. People are having crashes so far on all different types of versions of Octane, and so the general consensus is roll it back. Don't update right away. You're never going to have a good time if you just auto update right away. It's going to cause a cascade of domino effect of failure. Noseman said Skype is Microsoft's case study on how to take a software that works well with every version, make it worse in every possible way. Good job so far.
I know another company who likes to buy other companies and then make them worse.
Yes. So roll that. See, I'm just sitting here with no updates and all my stuff is still working. How about that? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
You give me a hard time about it, but you know.
Yeah. I definitely did the hard way doing that.
Yeah, but Dave, you'll spend days, literally days, trying to fix issues that I swear would just happen if you just update your stuff regularly.
I haven't had any
or the
problems
fact
with
that
this one.
you can't even join us in a Facebook or a video chat
On my phone, because my phone's not updated, and guess what happened last week?
Oh, there was a big leak. Oh, gee, somebody can call me and listen in on my stuff.
Yeah, people can listen into your conversations on FaceTime now, but not with mine, because I didn't update. So let's move on to Ravcock. What's your flavor?
What's your flavor? I was saying if you were going to do it, Phil, but you didn't.
Should we do take 2?
I can't do it. I can't do it because of my voice.
Oh, that's right.
Come on, try it.
Right.
See.
He's like, what's your flavor?
That might be better.
See, that was
you
even better.
I can do better falsetto.
That's what we're going to use from now on.
I can do better falsetto whenever I'm sick. Sound like the Bee Gees.
I have no falsetto. It's just high voice all the time.
I sound like the guy from The Simpsons, the teenager guy that works in the... Put that mayo.
Put that mayo out in the sun.
I gotta ask one.
We're running out of special sauce.
There needs to be some sort of frequently asked questions website, like a website that's like, what render engine should I use.com for noobs. And I'm not hating.
Isn't there? No, didn't Chad do this? I'm pretty sure GSG did this.
He probably did, but I'm not hating on noobs, but the thing is, when you're new to the industry, you ask that question. The problem is there's so many new people in the industry that some of these groups and stuff online, it's just flooded every day.
Totally
with, what engine should I use? What engine should I use?
This needs to be like pinned in the Cinema 40 Facebook group.
Yeah.
It's what renderer should I use in Cinema 40?
Right. Because my answer to everybody is like, it depends on your situation, your hardware, the clients that you want to get. Like, what are you doing? Like, what kind of jobs is it? Like, there's so many variables that you can't just ask that question without more information first.
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be a primer that says, before you ask this question, at least fill in these other blanks and tell us this other information before you ask that question, and we see it for the 100th time. The problem is people get tired of answering that question. I love answering questions online about Cinema 40 in general, or if someone has an issue. But when people don't explain what their issue is, then it's like, well, I can't really help you with that. Or if you don't give enough info, I don't know how to help you with that. And after a while, you get tired of asking that same question over again. So,
like saying, how do I make a movie?
right.
Okay, well, that's a really loaded question.
Well, it depends on your skill level too. Like, what renderer should I use? I don't know. Do you know anything about animation?
Yeah.
Maybe you should stick with physical render or pro render. Someone I told the other day, they're like, well, what GPU renderer could I get that's free? I'm like, pro render?
Yeah. You could go use Blender.
But people who don't have any 3D experience at all, like, do you really need to be talking about Redshift right away? Like, learn about basic lighting before you move into Redshift. What are you going to do? You know, are you going to go buy Redshift and a bunch of plugins and spend all this money when you don't even know how to animate a cube? You know?
No, they're not going to do that. They're just going to steal it because that's what people like that do anyway.
Yeah.
The question should be, which render engine should I steal first?
Right. And that irks me too, because when people ask about that, about a render engine, and you tell them, they're like, well, Octane's $300. That's ridiculous. And it's like, well, first of all, that's not ridiculous.
First of all, that's relatively inexpensive compared to some of the other ones.
And I always say this. I'm always like, well, you just paid $4,000 for Cinema 4D, so that's not a big deal, right?
Right.
And the answer I always get back is like, oh, I'm on the educational version. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Bro.
Well, they've got educational versions of just about all these plugins too, I believe.
That's what I said too.
I think
I don't want the watermark. It's like, but then,
doesn't matter.
Yeah. Oh well.
Anyway. What else I got here? This is from you, Phil. This is shaders.xyz.
Oh yeah, so this website disappeared for maybe, I think, like 6 to 8 months. And basically what it was a kind of a test for, you could use it in any render engine, and they just give you like a reference of what they want you to create, and then you basically show how you did it. So you have people in Arnold, in Maya, and like Octane and Cinema 4D, and it's all like crazy weird, like beer foam, for instance, or
I saw that one,
like a rusty like multi-layered paint where some of it's chipped off and you can see some of the like rusty metal underneath, and it's been painted
bread. That's cool.
That's the new one. So and it's like people's kind of like approach to it, and how they like would tackle it in their render engine of choice. Basically, it's like really good research.
Actual render, that they're showing off.
So the first one is a photographic reference.
Oh yeah,
and then everything underneath that is obviously a render. So like people have just posted like, this is what I did, like put displacement on it, etc., etc. It's really cool, because like when a job comes up like that, and it's like, oh, how actually am I going to?
I've had to do beer foam before too.
Yeah. And it's just like crowdsourcing, like the way to do it, basically.
This is very cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Got the other stuff in here. Yeah, man, this one right here, this is the best thing.
And it's like
bread.
they've remade the website so it's easier to see all the information. Before they had a really crappy website, and now it's a lot more like better laid out and like easier to find the information. So.
Nice. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, what I got else? What else do I got? Man, I'm dyslexic today. Let's see. Nvidia Drivers. What's the best render engine? Kingdom Hearts Arnold watermark. Did you see that today?
Yeah, I thought that was great.
That was a big one.
I didn't see that.
There's a cutscene in the new Kingdom Hearts game. Yeah. Where like the very first frame actually has the Arnold watermark on it.
No way.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's almost like, you know, when you render over something, you overwrite after you render something, and After Effects accidentally caches a frame, because that's what After Effects does. Just one frame is still cached even when you render. It's so stupid. But anyway, you can see for a split second, you see one frame of Arnold. Here it comes here on the live feed. You'll see this. Boom, Arnold. Whoops.
I think that's funny.
Somebody didn't clear their After Effects cache.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, and we're the only one in the world who are going to notice it.
Right.
Of course, there's going to be a patch for it, I'm sure. That gets rid of it.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What else do we have here? Did you have some... That was your Ravcock stuff, right? I think it was.
Yep.
My God, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. So...
Yeah.
Let's see.
Excuse me.
Man, I'm lost in my notes right now. Okay, here we go. So I guess let's get to MDC, because that was our week last week. Phil, you and I were there hanging out and being inspired and junk, and that was
you come all the way
across the pond.
Yeah.
And man, it was so much fun. It was so inspirational. So
yeah, it's really good to hang out with people from the Slack as well. I don't do that enough. Like some of the UK guys and stuff, and yeah, seeing the presentations, they're just like, I wasn't I don't know, I didn't have my hopes like set that high, and then I was just like totally blown away, like by some of the, like especially Golden Wolf.
And Golden Wolf is great.
Wolf is great.
Gosh.
Man, they are so good.
And the Coke commercial
stuff that they're doing is awesome.
The Coke is Coke is a Coke?
Mm-hmm.
Coke commercial that was right before the Super Bowl started. Immediately, I was like, that has to be Golden Wolf. And I looked, and I think I found something that mentioned PSYOP, and I guess but PSYOP and Golden Wolf have some sort of connection, right? I don't understand the relationship, but I think they work together. Whatever it is, I'm pretty sure whoever is doing all those GIFs that we were looking at, the other day, were just like this Coke commercial. Do you know the one I'm talking about? Coke is a Coke?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't. Hopefully, I can show a clip of this without getting tagged.
You're gonna get tagged.
Yeah, it drives me nuts. It's like, I mean, we usually get it reversed because we're using it as an example, which is very useful.
Yeah. But they do all that kind of like merging kind of 2D sort of one object into another one, and they're just like really well known for doing that, aren't they?
It kind of reminds me of what they did on that show called Superbad.
Mm-hmm.
This hand-drawn style and everything. But
the movie? Superbad?
I'm sorry, not Superbad. Super Jail. Super Jail. Did you ever see Super Jail? Man, that hand-drawn stuff was freaking awesome. But that's what it kind of reminds me of. But Golden Wolf's presentation was so good, and it was to me, it was a little bit different to be at a meetup in Europe. It has a different feel to it, and
it totally does. Yeah,
it's great. I loved it, and I got inspiration in a different way than I usually get inspiration if you're like at NAB or Graph or something like that. And the way that they were describing how they go about getting work was very interesting to see, because we know people are flocking to Instagram, things like that. But the way that they go about doing this is they put these tests out for things that they feel that they could use in commercial work. It's not necessarily like, oh, hey, let's do a daily or something like that. It's some sort of short animated GIF type thing that tells an actual story or something like that. And then they have so much of it that people come along and they're like, oh, we want to do something like that style you did right there. Can we talk about a gig? And so I was watching something Gary Vee said the other day, that there are people that go about doing Instagram like, oh, how many likes can I get? How many likes can I get? And comment. And everybody's talking about, oh, if you want to be seen on Instagram, you got to be constantly commenting and all this stuff. But all that does is it just brings the D-bags out of the work. The people that follow you because it helps the algorithm just to follow you. They don't really care about your content. The type of people that comment on our posts like, that's a great render, guys, and it's a picture of Maxon Rick and David Ariev standing there, and it's like, it's so obvious that you are being that guy right now, and that's not what is going to matter. What Gary Vee said, it's going to be about the volume of what you're putting out. if you're putting
Yeah.
out volumes
Well,
of great
exactly.
content.
That's
Of great content.
Yes.
Nobody
It's also
wants to see
different
the
than
same daily render every single day, but
Yeah.
there. Yes, but he has also said that you can. He's also talking about quality as well.
of course.
Like the quality of the people who follow. I don't know. You're not.
Quantity
I
with
don't.
quality.
Right. Well, I don't know. Anyway.
Not for
Yeah,
the
you need
sake
to
of
post.
doing it.
You need to post regularly, and you
Right.
need to
Mhm.
post and it almost needs to be like pretty much every day or every other day, and you need to contribute to that. That whole system for you to show up on other people's feeds. Yeah, so they figured out that if they got 14 likes, after posting in the first 10 minutes on FFF Found,
Yeah.
that they would go to the front page, and they were getting a lot of work from that because it was like everybody that they knew was kind of looking at that for kind of inspiration, what's going to be new.
Mhm.
You know how ad agencies work, they just trawling Behance and all these other websites to kind of look for reference of what they're going to do. And obviously if you're on the front page, then you're going to be seen by a lot more people. So they just kind of figured that out just by accident, and they've kind of just, with their Instagram stuff, they do it in a really cool, organic way where they'll have interns in and things like that. And they'll just well, listen, we haven't got that much work on today. How about you do something that you think is cool?
Yeah.
Getting the younger generation kind of involved. And then they post that to their stories, or they post that as their Instagram post, not necessarily what work they've been doing, or trying to advertise their services or something like that. It's just it shows them in a better light, rather than just we're trying to force feed you we do this work.
And I think it's a different feel though than dailies. This is not dailies.
Oh yeah, it's not. No, definitely not.
It's doing a project to do a cool little project, like the one I did last
R&D.
week was just for fun. It was R&D, try something new, but maybe come up with a story, make it a GIF, something that can loop somehow, even if it's not seamless loop, even if it's different shots and then it starts over, whatever it is, but it really has a different feel than dailies. It's not the daily vibe, because every day you want to do something different. It's not like these people on Instagram doing dailies and they all look exactly the same. This is building something and learning from it and doing something new that you would like to do. And that's, we've talked about before, is that when you want to do a certain type of work, if you don't have any work like that to show in the first place, nobody's going to come to you to do that kind of work.
Totally true.
And you can really
and you've
fall
got to
into a
show
hole
off
quick.
the work that you really want to do. If you want to do character stuff, you got to fill your reel full of character stuff. If you want to do, architectural rendering, you got to fill it with architectural rendering.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it was really inspiring to see that. And, I took a lot of notes as well. We, walked around and talked a lot before and after. Phil and I did anyway, and talked about what we were inspired by. Went and, got some cheeky Nandos and whatnot.
What are cheeky Nandos?
Oh, inside UK jokes.
The Queen.
And we went out. We did some photogrammetry too. We're messing with that.
That was really cool. So we went to Trafalgar Square, one of the big touristy sort of spots, and we both brought our cameras one day, and then just thought we'd try out some photogrammetry.
Did some
of
circles.
one of the lions underneath Nelson's column. That was quite cool because it's it was really overcast, as it is always here. So it's perfect lighting conditions, but the only thing is with shiny objects.
Yeah.
Shiny. Yeah.
We couldn't get the top. We couldn't get the top of the lion's head.
Yeah.
Because it was too high up there, and both of us put this through a photogrammetry software, and it had a mohawk because it couldn't figure out the top.
Funny.
So it just kind of fills in the vector points between the top of the lion and the bounding box that you create for it.
Yeah.
So Yeah, it freaked out on some parts of it where it was like, because it was shiny, and like the way the photogrammetry works, it's better with things that have like a lot of roughness or a lot of texture, like works great on. But anything shiny, like it doesn't really work out well, because obviously as you're moving around the object, the light's going to change and the reflections are going to change on that object. So it's trying to work that out on the fly, and it doesn't really, like, it's not super smart, like trying to figure that out. Like I remember back when I worked where I used to work, we had a glass that we needed to model, and it was like a really specific glass, and it was like a weird shape. But what we wanted to do is do photogrammetry, so we could get, like, even if it was just for reference, like not actually using the model. So obviously, because it was glass and it was see-through, like we couldn't just go around it and take a lot of photos. We had to, first of all, kind of paint the whole thing with like grey paint, like inside and out, and then like flick kind of paint at it, so it wasn't just like one solid color. So like the camera could pick up all of those like distinctive points, like those paint splatters all the way around it, and it gave such a good model from doing that.
I like.
And we tried.
See, now I'm thinking you could take some photogrammetry of your face, and then you retopologize it, right, and go through and do all the sculpting stuff.
See, that's the hard thing, because you're literally moving all the time. Like you may not feel like you're moving, like if you try and stay really, really still, but you are actually moving all the time. And that's the thing in photogrammetry that like totally mucks up the model, because it's counting on the fact that it's a static object and you're moving around it. So if the object's moving and you're moving at the same time, it's like taking a blurry photo. It's like that equivalent. So that's why they have those rigs where they'll have, like, you stand in the middle and there's like 180 cameras around you that all fire at once, because they're capturing that 1 millisecond of time. And then they put all of those photos together.
Matt, what did you write in the chat? What did you can me? Is that?
Oh man, that was supposed to be. What did you call me?
Is this a Cinema 4D?
Just spray it with Matt Gray.
I thought it was a Cinema 4D Facebook question.
Yeah. So sorry. Sorry, I went dumb there for a second.
I liked the technique though that you were telling me about, Phil, where you go around it once and then you pull way back and you push in with a telephoto lens a little bit, and then you do it again, because then the software, if there's a lot of stuff in the background, the software can easily distinguish between what's background and what's not background. That worked really well. Yeah,
it's really like worked really well, didn't it? And that's just kind of going off experience, like being on set and doing photogrammetry. Like I was really lucky, like I got to go on set with someone who now does like that TD sort of work for ILM. So like super smart guy called Dave Wortley, and like he showed me the ropes on all of that sort of stuff, like what not to do, like what to do to get the like kind of best captures you can.
Sage says, "What software you used?" It's what were you using for yours?
I was using reality capture, but I haven't tried photo scan. I don't have photo scan.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try both and just kind of see what the difference is between the two. Not that I haven't done it before. Yeah, I know Sage said it on purpose. That was the joke. That's the joke.
You got it.
You got it. I got your joke. What software did you use? It's always a question. If I have that software, I'll be able to be exactly the same as you. Inspiration that we got, though, was besides Golden Wolf. Let's see. Wait, before I get into the other speakers, you did the Happy Meal. The Rick and Morty Happy Meal. You kind of went and did a thing too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that was a kind of like, like I was talking on the Monday meeting the other day where I just recommend to everyone to get something that you can kind of have a to-do list on like your phone or like your computer, and it kind of syncs together, because I like getting inspiration from like whatever I see. So if I like, and I'm terrible. Like I've got a good memory, but like if I think of something in that moment and then say to myself like, oh, I'm going to remember that. Like I never do, and it's like
I'm the same way.
There's so many ideas that have just gone like out of the window because of that reason. So I got this app called Wunderlist, and I've just literally listed all the things that come to mind. So like anything that I see, and then I think of an idea like off of that, I think, all right, I'll put it on Wunderlist, and it just it'll just sit there. So now I'm just like literally just kind of trying to pick at all of these things on my list, and that was one of them when. Because I watched Rick and Morty the other day, and like that was one of the episodes that I watched where he kind of gets taken back in time to when Szechuan sauce is like when Mulan came out, wasn't it, in the 90s or whatever it was.
I still have some Szechuan sauce when they re-released it.
Yeah,
there we go.
So I thought, that'd be cool to have a like, what if there was a Rick and Morty kind of Happy Meal?
This is what will come out when they really release the Szechuan sauce. The problem is it's not for kids. Parents will be upset.
Yeah. And
what is this Plumbus? Get a free Plumbus nightlight with your purchase of a Happy Meal. I've been putting stuff in a book. I thought maybe I should use this one too. Look, I got this cool Video Copilot notebook. Ooh,
oh yeah, swag.
Got a lot of swag, and I've been writing a lot of that down just to. Like in books and stuff like this, even though it's not digital. I'll go back, I guess, some of these and put them digitally. But yeah, I'm doing the same technique for stuff that I think of when I'm not in front of my computer. You know, because you always think of something like before you, like right when you're nodding off to sleep. You know.
Yeah. So. And we were talking about that a lot as well. When like you don't want to have that thing where it's like, right, I feel like I have to make something. And then I sit at my computer, and then it's like, right, make something.
Stare blankly at the screen.
Go. Be creative. Like it just doesn't happen. So I
started drawing last night in bed while watching TV. Like, you know, the wife and I, we always lay in bed and watch TV the last hour or two before we go to bed. And last night I was like, I really wanted to continue sculpting because I was sculpting this really stupid looking, you know, character. And I was like, but I you know, I don't know. Anyway, so I was laying in bed with just like a pad of paper and a pencil and stuff and just drawing. It felt kind of nice, even though all my drawings were terrible, you know? It's like, it's neat to think about it in like a 2D sculpting kind of way, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't drawn in ages. I got a lot of art supplies for Christmas. Like my wife got me like a huge kind of like wooden case, like full of like oil pastels and oil paints and acrylics and stuff. So I need to start doing that. So I used to paint a lot when I was younger. I need to just start doing that sort of stuff.
Yeah, my inspiration never comes to me in front of the computer, and I've just got to have a new way of working and just sit with a notepad and just sketch or write notes all over the place, and just I got to change it up. And I think that's just my new way of doing it, you know.
I saw a few Reddit posts where there were some really pretty things that people were doing with the iPad, you know, and the pencil and stuff.
Yeah.
It almost convinced me to buy one, but then I remember they're like $1 million.
Oh, man, I love
and they'll only last a year.
Oh, I love mine.
I did have one, and I bought it for that reason. I was like, right, I had an hour and a half commute there, hour and a half commute back. Like on the tube, and I was like, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start drawing and just like pass the time, like do that kind of daily thing where I'm just like sit there doodle. And I started doing it, and then like the person sat next to me just starts like looking, and I was just like,
oh, you're self-conscious, right?
Yeah, super self-conscious, and it literally happened every time that I got it out.
That's not a very British thing to do. You're supposed to keep to yourself, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, if someone talks on the tube, they just like you have to leave. Yeah.
I read a tweet today that said, I heard a kid in the tube scream, "If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands," and no one clapped.
Oh, that's great.
That's so good. That does happen. It happened to Debbie. Like when me and my wife, like we went for a meal with Dave, and we like she was on the way back. She had to go back and pick up the kids, and on the way back, someone collapsed in front of her on the tube, and she obviously like went straight there and helped. Nobody around them batting an eyelid. Like she hit the floor, nobody batting an eyelid, and she got up and like tended to her. It's like so crazy. And then like
move on.
Eventually when she got to the station, and then someone else started helping, and it turns out like my wife's in the military and the other guy was in the military as well.
Right.
And it's like they're just that kind of person, I guess.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Procreate is an app that a lot of people are using on the iPad, by the way. I thought I'd mention, which I have a copy of. I like it. Thomas King, who works at Already Been Chewed, he's got that app, and he's been doing some really great stuff. Like
I have seen some really cool
looking stuff. And he's been doing that. He's been getting into sculpting and things as well, like ZBrush stuff. And his ZBrush
him and I were chatting about that the other day at Already Been Chewed.
At the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at this ZBrush sculpt that he did here.
What?
Yeah. It's pretty sick looking stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
I've been following his work because, man, that's
for those not looking, it's this giant like mask type thing.
I've got like such a respect for people who can sculpt in 3D. It's a hard thing to do because it's not that tactile feedback. That's actually why I kind of like Medium on Oculus better, because at least you're using your hands a little more. It feels more like you're using clay instead of just using a mouse and a keyboard. So
I've watched a few like speed things, sped up whatever of people sculpting in ZBrush, and it actually seems very different than Cinema. Like I've seen a lot of them using like the wax tool and stuff like that in order to like build up and like cut down and stuff like that. I don't know. It's interesting because I don't really use the wax tool. Like I find that it just doesn't work the way I want it to, but that's probably me doing it wrong.
I guess you could go with does Samsung, their tablets have a good pencil?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't really like Samsung devices.
Oh yeah, the Apple Pencil is great.
Yeah, it's so great.
Really cool. Yeah.
Samsung Galaxy Note 2014 edition is about 160 pounds. Man, that's a heavy tablet. Dang. All right, what else do we have here? I think you have to approach it differently. I was watching some stuff, and we'll talk about Simon here in a minute too. I was watching some stuff on Simon's website, and he's talking about using different pieces of software in a way that fits your needs. We've talked about this before, but if you just sit in front of Cinema 4D, an empty Cinema 4D, and not only are you not going to have any real inspiration, but it's like he said, if all you have is a hammer, then wait, what is it? Then everything's going to look
everything
like a nail.
becomes a nail.
Right. Yeah. Which is fine if that's all you can afford or whatever. But if there's other mediums, like you said, like drawing, just kind of approaching things differently, and like a lot of people talked about at MDC is finding things in real life rather than digital to start with. You know, they did the who was it that
so 23rd C, Nick Hill and Stylo. Is that what you're talking about?
Nick and Stylo. They did the paint thing for BBC, and they were talking about using other mediums and bringing it in. So you're kind of approaching things a different way, and not just like sitting down in front of a blank canvas on your computer. So
their whole kind of their whole thing. So they've just started a new company called 23rd C, and their kind of unique selling point is that they mix like real world things with digital things. And so what they were doing with those kind of idents is like BBC came to them and said, like, we really like this image, and they had an image of kind of like paint, but it was kind of like swirled paint, but it wasn't mixing. That was the thing. It was like really like slender kind of primary colored paint, and they like kind of got the job, and then it's like, right, how are we going to do this? So they started looking into it, and there's like different artists that they found, that does this kind of style, and they started like messaging them. It's like, how do you stop the paint from mixing when you like pour paint into a pot? Like it'll mix all together and just create like a muddy kind of brown look. So they found this stuff called GAC 800, which you add to the paint. And I was like, straight away, I was like writing that down when he was saying that. I was like, oh wow, because it looks so good. As soon as they started doing that,
Stylo is pretty freaking hilarious. By the way, like
he was. Yeah.
As soon as I saw him, I'm like, we have got to get this guy on the show.
Yeah,
he's like Napoleon Dynamite mixed with a graphic artist, mixed with a magician, mixed with a comedian. Like
that's funny.
I don't know how to describe him, but he was great.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't wait to talk to this guy.
It was so funny. And they were showing all these like pictures of them like on Nick's kitchen floor. He had all this like tarpaulin down and like pots of paint everywhere. And like they had a camera set up kind of like looking down and like pouring paint into this. But they didn't stop there. They didn't just film that and kind of like give it to the BBC. They took it like way further. Like they took it into took those like image sequences into cinema, and they're using like the new kind of volumes and volume builder and like all the fields and things like that, just to kind of mix it all together. And it was so good. It looks amazing. Like
they were putting
super
those
organic
planes, like doing planes as bulls to do these cross sections through volume builders. Yeah. It was weird. Like
it was so cool.
Really cool. Like I feel like that needs to be something that Maxon showcases for sure. Yeah. Like the way that they described that, I was like, man, that is a crazy awesome use of fields. And
Nick Hill put out like a with an ask me questions sort of thing, like what tutorials would you like to see, and that was literally like the top one, where people are just asking how he did the BBC Two ident. So
always more than meets the eye. Like even with the paint.
You guys keep talking. I'll be right back.
Okay.
He's got to go take a potty break.
Yeah. So
he's nodding yes.
It looks so good. Like that whole thing was just so fascinating to me. That the whole, because I feel like because I come from a kind of photography background, like I still have that kind of like what it looks like in real life is like the key thing,
right?
And taking that and like that, I really like that whole thing. Just like totally resonated with me, and like it was really good to see that sort of stuff, rather than like, because I feel like when I was in my last job, like there was things where it was in like weeks in CG when it like we could just shoot that,
right? Yeah, exactly.
Like mixing paint, it's like that's quite difficult to do. Like
sometimes the simplest solution is the best.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah, sometimes it is. Yeah.
Like the NASA pencil pen thing that you always hear about with the Russians.
Yeah,
which actually isn't true, but
I still feel like as well, like when you have a client and they hear that it's CG, it's like they've got this like little thing in their head where it's just like, well, I can change that any way I want, and maybe to me it looks wrong, but if you've shot something, like they can't say that it looks wrong because it's real life,
Right.
So like whether a perspective is off, or like whether like the paint wouldn't do that in real life, or like something like that.
See, what's funny, if you shot it in real life and you gave it to the client and told them it was a render, they'd probably say something didn't look right about it.
Yeah. Looks fake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love getting that comment. That's great.
You've heard the story of the NASA pen thing, right? Like they needed a pen that would work in outer space because pens don't work in outer space. And so Russia's solution to that was just to use a pencil. But that's actually not true.
Right.
It's actually not true, because they actually did need a pen, because the graphite little chips of it could get into things and short things out. So if you ever hear that, you can be actually guy who goes, actually. Yeah. So, man, okay, we got so many notes on this. Let's see. Speaker. So we talked about Golden Wolf. Did we talk about Niels?
No, so he was first. and like his stuff was really, really cool. But it was very, I would say, kind of where he really concentrated on the lighting and the composition.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where he started. Like, so most of his stuff was black and white, and it was kind of like bold shapes and shafts of light and, you know, like really strong compositional stuff. And then he like built from that. He was more like, I would say like a concept artist that then is kind of still doing, you know, kind of finished work as well.
Yeah, a lot of his stuff had kind of that, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. What's the vibe I'm looking for? What's the style I'm looking for? Maybe Ashthorpe-ish?
Yeah,
aspects?
I would say like it's very kind of up to the minute title sequence, like that kind of, you know, where things are slowly moving and like it really close up, lots of detail, and then it will be like really strong lighting. So like where it's just like backlit, like mostly backlit sort of stuff. And yeah, it was just like really, really pretty things to look at. But a lot of it was black and white. It was very monochromatic and like maybe one or two colors. Like a lot of his stuff didn't have a lot of color in it.
And who else? After lunch? Who was after lunch?
So after lunch was Deanna Lawn. She works at NPC. Mm-hmm. So she like, it sounds like she worked at NPC kind of like in a super small team of like maybe 2 or 3 people, and they kind of do like kind of the work that I want to start getting into. And it's like what I enjoy the most is like that pitch stage where a job comes in, don't have much time, and you're kind of putting all of this stuff together quite quickly to get style frames or like a small animation just to show that you're capable of doing the job and you get the brief and like all of those sort of things. And like she just got to do super experimental like stuff like in X particles, and she was using like Arnold to render because they obviously NPC have got a huge like render farm. So I think their pipeline is all kind of Arnold pipeline anyway. Mm-hmm. So she was using Cinema 4D, but all of the stuff is just like, it's really like experimental, and like she's getting like lens flares and like she's doing light trails and like it's really, really, really cool stuff. And it was just great. Really good.
And then Simon, how do you pronounce Simon's last name?
Simon Holmedal.
Holmedal. Okay. Yeah. So we actually got to speak after, but first of all, his presentation was hilarious.
It was so funny because he was just like, because the whole time he's just like, I've put too many slides. I can't believe it. I'm really sorry.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. He's like,
and then
FML.
He's like clicking through, and he's just like, oh my god! Like,
I think it's so funny because he's so good, and even his experiments and he had so many slides in there, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, this is crap. This whole thing is crap, and everybody's looking at these slides like, oh my god, this is so amazing.
Like, he's like, I'm gonna skip. Do you want me to skip? And everyone's like, no.
Right? It's like, no, don't skip. Like we're really enjoying this. I know we're quiet, but we're more in awe than anything. And he's just got his hands on his head. He's like, and we're like, no, this is great. Like, I really like to see his breakdown. He's like, oh, this is boring. I'm just going to, we're like, no.
Yeah. It really isn't. Yeah. But he was like all
like
Houdini.
Imposter syndrome live or something.
Yeah, right. It was literally that. Right. Yeah, it was Imposter syndrome live. Yeah. But he used to be like solely cinema, and then he started using Houdini. But the interesting thing is he was at work, and he used to get into work 2 hours early, just so he could learn Houdini, and then started to realize that like, oh, I could actually like make a system in Houdini to do this job like that I was going to do in cinema, and it's helping me out. And like, so he started using that to his advantage, where so he showed a title sequence that he did, and it literally had these like, it almost looked like
they were fractals,
like fractal ferrous kind of like weird rocks that were just like ever like unfolding forever. Like literally it was like it was like 3 minutes. Like the camera did not move, and it was so detailed and like billions.
It was mesmerizing, though.
It was. It was like so interesting, like how he did that, and like how he like did the system to make those where they're like kind of scaling up and rolling around and kind of coming into shot and going away, and it was like a constant, like permanent wave of like stuff coming at you.
What was interesting, a lot of this stuff we didn't find out until after the fact, because you and I were talking to him at the pub afterwards, and so it was really cool to hear a little bit more about this. And I want to say that the things we're talking about are probably all in his Instagram. And
for sure.
His Instagram is just ridiculous. But it was interesting to hear the way that he used Cinema 4D before he got into Houdini. I think one of his videos on his website talks about using Cinema 4D and Houdini to complement each other. And with Houdini, the way he went about, I was like, okay, how do you, just for a noob, how do you go about learning Houdini? Because everybody's scared of it, you know? Mm-hmm. And everybody's like, I don't know where to start. And he's like, well, rather than just going to do tutorials, if you find something that you need to attack, like find something easy, even in like motion graphics and Cinema 4D, something you would do on a regular basis, and just sit down with Houdini and trying to figure out how to do that. Even if it's something simple like a cloner object or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And he spent those 2 hours coming in early, and he'd start working on it, and he might not get done. And he said, I would sit there during the day working in Cinema 4D, working in my job, thinking about it in the back of my head. How am I going to come back and approach this after work? And then after work, he'd go back to it. He hit me up this morning, actually. He emailed me, and so we were talking a little bit, and so I think he's going to come on the show at some point.
Oh, nice.
As well.
Oh, that's cool.
Sweet.
Yeah. A couple people already mentioned in the chat too that he uses Linux, and it was interesting to, I think he was specifically talking about Redshift, if I'm not mistaken, that he had some sort of crazy difference between rendering something on Windows in Redshift and rendering it on Linux in Redshift. It was like twice as fast, or maybe not, don't quote me on that, but it was something insane where running all this stuff on Linux is the way to go. I just found that really interesting. So,
yeah, any kind of studio that's like big enough, like run everything. Like, so the guy Dave that I was mentioned before that I used to go on the shoots on, who works at ILM now. So literally the whole company is Linux, and he is the Windows guy. Like, so anything to do with Windows, like it goes to him. Yeah, and like everything else goes through Linux.
Yeah,
Liam says,
Liam.
Liam's saying Linux is 4 times faster for Redshift because Windows interferes with the drivers.
I mean, it makes sense.
Huh. That's really interesting.
It's the overhead. It's the OS overhead. That makes sense, really. Yeah. Yeah.
There we go, Dave. Let's build a Linux machine. Put all of our GPUs in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because it feels like Windows, like you kind of have this window up front, and then it has every version of Windows ever the deeper you go. Like the weird icons, like even when you're installing a program, it feels like it's from 1998.
Yeah, everything's dated.
Yeah, it literally is that. It's just built on top, and they're just putting out fires constantly as new stuff comes out.
Yeah. Of course, we got to talk about Andrew Kramer.
Oh, yeah.
So he was last to present.
The Andrew Kramer.
Yeah. Now, first of all, his presentation was really great. But then he throws out this kind of bombshell at the end about this new plugin that he's working on. And it was kind of crazy to be there because a lot of people started posting about it. And everybody's like, what? What's going on? What is this? And the internet was kind of, it was a Saturday. This is the only thing. So you didn't get as much buzz, but it was kind of fun to be there for kind of this reveal. And he showed off this new, what would you call it?
It was like you call it
Nebulous, right?
Nebula 3D.
Nebula 3D.
And it's, imagine like how fast volume rendering is in Redshift, and then times that by 8.
Like near real time.
Jeez.
near real time in After Effects, and it's animated
3D
VDBs.
volumetrics, God
like-
rays, fog.
You can add like mats to VDBs, like any kind of mats. Like, so you can have the light reacting through. He used a radio target thing, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like going through it, and then he had
It's
the
like
VDB.
a bull. It's a bull, essentially.
It's a ball, yeah. It's a ball on your VDB, and then he had a volumetric light, and it had it all interacting together, and there was literally no lag.
Yeah,
Wow.
he could just rotate around it, take a look at it,
Yeah.
no big deal. And
He was
it
adding, like-
insane.
Oh man, it was insane. He
Oh,
was
yeah.
adding fog to shots, like
Yeah.
live, so like just adding like that depth, like
you
that
use a Z
nice,
depth pass if you want.
yeah. Man, it was so amazing.
Yeah,
And it, like the whole thing runs on a so his guys have been redesigning the UI, so like all of the stuff is going to be like updated, so you know all the other plugins with a new UI, and it uses a node system, so you can plug like lights in, like which lights are going to affect which
After
things you've
Effects
seen.
light nodes. It's insane.
It's so, man, it was so impressive. Like literally everyone in was getting their phone out and taking a picture of it or filming it, or just like you just heard the gasps. Like,
Yeah,
like,
because
as-
these people are very, very like there were a lot of advanced artists in the audience, and
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, and for it to be an After Effects plugin, you know, everybody's first reaction is like, meh. But in the room we were in with these artists, when he showed it off, people were like, they didn't know what to think. They were silent. They were like, whoa, like
Yeah.
what? How is this happening right now?
and even when I put it on my Instagram story, and I literally got like 10 people like, what is it? What is it? Oh my god! Yeah,
And
How were they again?
You can do things like control the scatter and throw colors based on the density information.
Yep.
It's pretty insane what he's doing there. I don't know what his secret sauce is, but
yeah. You can add like point lights inside the VDBs, and it reacts how it should. As
right
well.
to the
Like-
distribution, like the scattering and all of that, and
and it's for free as well. It's literally real time. There's no noise or like it's crazy.
Wow.
It's crazy.
it works with Element 3D objects as well. You could put the 3D objects in, you know, for real fog and things like that. And I feel like he should be in charge of After Effects in general.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, or come out with his own version of After Effects. But it's going to be on
Safe
Mac
side.
and PC. We asked him that ahead of time because we weren't sure, because you know the GPU stuff. You
Yeah.
know, sometimes it's like only Nvidia or, you know.
Yeah. It's all GPU accelerated. And
Yeah.
we asked him afterwards, like whether that node system will be part of the other plugins as well. And he was kind of like not ready to say, but
Right.
you kind of know why. Like that
Yeah.
maybe he's got something else like in the
Up his
pipeline or
sleeve.
yeah.
Yeah.
His
Form
sleeve.
2.0.
Yeah. I had myself some good scotch, by the way, over there, because there are better prices on scotch over there. And
Is that true?
oh yeah, especially Talisker. I got the limited edition.
We
Game
have
of
Ireland and
Thrones.
Scotland where it pretty much comes from. so-
Right. Yeah, so I got the Game of Thrones Talisker bottle of scotch for like $33 or something insane. You know, it's just a regular bottle here in the States is $75. So that,
Wow.
and I did a tasting too of what year was it, a 30-year scotch, a 30-year Talisker, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Because a shot of it usually in the States I think it was a 30, or maybe it was 40. But
I think it was 40.
I think it was a 40. You're right.
I think it was 40.
Jeez.
Yes.
It was a 40-year-old. I've never had a 40-year-old scotch. That's what it was. It was a 40-year-old scotch. One glass in the States is $150.
Holy cow.
And I want to say it was like $40-50. And
Yeah,
I
it
was
was
like,
50,
I
yeah.
definitely want to try this. You know, and it was just amazing. And Talisker is one of my favorites anyway. So yeah, just putting that out there in case anyone wants to send me a bottle, you know.
This week's episode brought to you by Talisker Whiskey.
And we had a great meetup too. Okay, who came to the meetup? So it was us, and we had Andy Gav Grant, Pedro, Claudio.
Yeah.
Anybody else? There were some other people that came to the restaurant that I didn't get to talk to, and I didn't know if they were friends of people or...
Yeah.
But we had a really fun meetup, so...
Yeah, it was cool.
It was great the way it worked, because we were on the Slack and kind of talking through the day. We had kind of a meetup channel going, a private meetup channel, and as the day went on, we kept adding people to our crew before the meetup. You know, we go drink at one place and then go somewhere else, and people would join. And by the time we got to the end, we had this whole crew. So that was a lot of fun.
That's
and
cool.
I think some of those guys may be making it to NAB this year. So
yeah, I think Claudio is going to NAB. Yeah,
let's
so
see.
That should be fun.
And
I'm not going this year.
I know,
I can't go this year.
I know.
Ooh, I'm so sad.
Yeah.
Just bring your kids. Take them out of school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a nice place to take kids, isn't it?
Yeah, you can go to the M&M store. That's about it.
Yeah,
We
that's
went to the
it.
Take them to the
store.
Sharks.
We went to the Lego store.
Take them to the Sharks at Mandalay Bay. That's always fun.
Yeah.
We went to
Just
the
cover your
London
eyes
one.
and ears on the way to stuff, like in Las Vegas. That's
Yeah.
that's what you gotta do.
If someone's handing you a card, it's not. Just don't grab it.
Yeah. Trash? Free trash? Would you like some free trash, sir?
Oh, by the way, this year I'm calling it again. After or during or wherever during the big meetup that they do on Sunday night, we're gonna go ride the New York again.
Yeah.
Like we did
Oh, nice.
last year. So yeah, anyone interested in that, let us know.
Pedro's business card. I have that.
Oh yeah.
Pedro's business card. I don't think I have it on me. I don't think it's in my wallet right now. But Pedro's business card had this luminescent. No, what would you call it?
No, it was iridescent.
Iridescent
Finish.
finish.
Yeah.
And it was so great. And it's one of those things where like not a lot of people do business cards anymore, or they do, but like you just don't pass them out like you used to. And so he put some of them, after he showed us, he put some of them in the bathroom. And because it had that finish on it, everybody in the bathroom was like looking at his card because it was so unique. And we were sitting like talking about cards and stuff, and I'm like, this is like American Psycho right now.
Right?
You know, like checking out the different fonts and types of paper and finishes, and that was really cool. I don't know where he got it. I don't remember. I think he's in the chat right now. Maybe he can tell us.
Oh my gosh, is that a watermark?
Yeah. Also, I talked to Haley a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we caught up a little
nice.
bit. She still needs to come on the show. We had her scheduled, and I think she got sick or something, and so we had to postpone. So hopefully we'll get her back on the show here pretty soon. And
Yeah, because I did a testimonial for her contracts.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nice to actually finally meet her like face to face. It's nice.
Okay, we got to talk about a sensitive topic.
Oh boy,
a little bit. All right,
20% gate.
20% gate. And I have to preface this by saying we are going to report on it, and we're going to talk about it. And so let's keep the bashing to a minimum. Mitch is our friend.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people on the internet have been getting him a hard time, but we're going to report on this just a little bit to talk about it and get people's opinions.
It's a very small industry.
Let's have an adult
any type of news, let's talk about.
Let's have an adult conversation about it. So, Matt, why don't you give us the synopsis?
Sure. Okay. So, Mitch Myers put up on Twitter the other day that he was looking for people to like work with. So basically it's like, hey, if I don't have enough work, if I've got too much work, if I'm overloaded or whatever, or if we want to collaborate on a project, hit me up. Everyone in the chat. That's so, that's cool and all. It's great to build a whole list of people that you can count on and blah, 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 and know their work and stuff. I mean, that's what we're doing. That's one reason why I really enjoy our Slack so much, is that there's a ton of people on there, and I know everyone's strengths. And if I need someone, it's great to be able to call on them. Now, here's the thing. He said, go sign up for my short list, blah, blah, blah. And he said, I want to be totally, open and transparent, so I'm going to take 20% of the total cost of the project, and all the client work will be through me. And that threw a bunch of people. So, and which I can, now I see it from both ways.
Because how is it any different than, like, I think REF has thrown us a gig before, and we've been like, well, make sure you take a little off the top.
Yeah, exactly. We I brought, like, and this was early in our relationship, our friendship or whatever. I said, hey, we'll just drop down our day rate just a little bit so that you can, take a small cut. Mm-hmm. But that was also on our side. We straight up offered that.
Yeah, see, that's the interesting thing. It's like, I think everybody like assumes, and everyone does that when you get a job. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, and it's from a friend, and you're like, you kind of hold back a little bit on maybe your day rate. So, and that you're gonna, obviously they're gonna ask you your day rate, and they're gonna mark it up when they go back to their client. Like, right. That is literally how you make money. But yes. I think the fact that he was like so upfront that, like, I am going to take 20% off you, like, he didn't have to say that. He didn't he could have just added 20% on.
Yeah.
Here's
the thing.
Right. That makes sense.
Here's the thing. And this is okay. So, like, I understand that some of us may do this, where it's like, okay, we're going to run art director. We're going to do the work. We're going to deal with the client stuff, and we're going to outsource it to one of our friends. Right.
Especially, and then we're going to take a small little bit as a company.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the big difference here, in my opinion, is that Mitch doesn't necessarily, in this particular case, Mitch doesn't show himself as like, he's showing himself as he is Mitch Myers, Okay. Mm-hmm. He is himself. He is a freelancer. He is whatever, Now, if you're portraying yourself as a company and saying, that's a totally different thing, because you can understand that a company as itself, has to make that extra money for its overheads and stuff like that, mm-hmm. versus a single freelancer and stuff like that. I know that's weird because, mm-hmm. yes, we are all running our own company as our freelancers and stuff like that.
Right.
But it's kind of different, Yeah. I don't know.
I think like he had very good intentions, and it's just come across very like,
well,
a lot of people.
The internet.
Yeah.
The internet.
Exactly.
Pitchforks come out.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Ryan Summers was saying a whole bunch of stuff against it, and then Mitch responded. And it's like, oh,
yeah. I mean, everybody had some good points and stuff like that, but really, like, and I guarantee you, he got a whole short list of people, mm-hmm. because there are a lot of people who would be like, heck yeah, I'll totally work for you. Take 20%. That's totally fine. That's no big deal. Some people are okay with that, and some people aren't. And if you aren't, feel free to say so.
Let me ask you this.
It doesn't matter.
Let me ask you about this. Is a lot of times, either if you're throwing something to a friend, or they're throwing something to you,
mm-hmm.
the client knows that it's being handled that way. Do you think that's part of it? Do you think he's presenting it as, oh, the client's never going to know this isn't me?
See, and that's the problem. Like, yeah, he was trying to be transparent, but he wasn't transparent enough in letting us know exactly how that was going to be handled.
Exactly.
So it's like, here, let me be transparent, but also let me be incredibly vague. So
because then the question comes up too, like, a lot of times you collaborate with a friend on something like that, and then you put it out there, and you're able to say it was yours. Are you not able to say are you not able to put it on your website? Is that part of his stipulation?
I have no idea.
Noseman said if you state your requirements beforehand, there's nothing unethical about it.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, I think it's just like a total case of like misunderstanding. Like, I feel like Mitch is not necessarily as part of like the community as he kind of makes out. Like, he's not kind of actively commenting on things and like being in the chats and like, you know, live feeds and things like this, where you see the normal people that are like chiming in on these things, like they are in there and they are talking about it. And I think it only would have took like him kind of putting it out there, like, listen, I'm thinking about doing this, guys. What do you think? Like beforehand, that would have saved all of this. You know?
And I have actually talked about that, and I don't know if I've talked about it on the show or just randomly, like with Matt and, you know, I don't know, David or something. I'm like, I miss Mitch. I miss Coolfire. Yeah. Like, he's a friend of ours, and like, he's just not around. I'm like, I miss the guy. Like, he's not in the chats. He's not in any. I just don't see him. You know, like, he kind of showed up, and we're like, hey, and then he's just not around. And I know he's probably busy with other things as well. But Chad Ashley says if anyone had a problem with what Mitch said, they should have taken it up with him in private and be an adult. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, the pitchforks come out, and it sucks when you're on the other end.
It really sucks when you're on the other end of the pitchforks. As someone who has been on the other end of the pitchforks many times, I can tell you it sucks.
And I tried not to get involved in those sort of rants. You know, like, because like all of my handles are my company, so I don't really want to. I don't like it, you're just kind of like, you're adding fuel to the fire, and you're also like, whatever you say on Twitter is kind of there forever, isn't it? So
right.
So I didn't really like have a massive problem with it like some of the other people, but I understand why they did, but I also understand like where Mitch is coming from in terms of like what, like, he's an entrepreneurial sort of person where like him and his wife have a couple of businesses. He has his own business, and he's like he is just trying to like make extra money. But
Liam said fuel to the cool fire. No, Mark Cernosa said it right in the chat. He said it came across as shady because A, he opened it to anyone, and B, there was a lot of gray area in the details. Yeah, that's totally right. That's totally right.
Yeah, but also, like Noseman says, like, most studios and agencies are making 1,000% markup for their artist work.
Absolutely. Those are studios, but those are labeled studios, and stuff like that.
Well, but like, how does that matter? Why does it matter?
Well, it I don't know. It's weird. It's weird because we do this all the time. You know, we pass off work to each other in this industry as freelancers every day.
Yeah.
But like, how many times have you gotten a job and you said, I'm going to pass that to my studio friend, or like my friend's studio, you know?
Yeah.
Like, okay, Dave, have we ever had someone come up to us and like the project just seemed too big or something like that, and we said, wow, you really need to go to Already Been Chewed? You know, that doesn't necessarily happen, you know? But Already Been Chewed, Barton's hit me up before and said, hey, here's a client. We can't handle their stuff, you know?
Well, maybe not that we can't handle their stuff. Already Been Chewed can definitely handle that. But it's like, this isn't really the gig for us, and we're working on like 10 gigantic projects right now. So
Exactly. And you know, at that point, him and I totally had an understanding that he would take a cut because he was a studio. He was a studio who was passing on a major, big amount of work to us if we ultimately got the job, which we didn't. But still, you know, that was understood.
Clients come to you because they know and trust you. So if they find out that you're like sending it to some rando who you've met on the internet, like, that's not really going to ensue. That's not going to ensue confidence in the client. It's like,
plus, you know, vetting people is really hard.
Yeah,
you know, vetting people is very hard because you never know how they work. You know, you can see people's work online, and the way they work may not necessarily be as good as their work. You know, it's the thing that a lot of us were talking about at SIGGRAPH last year during our little, you know, barroom conversations. It's that the Instagram people who are just like throwing out stuff on Instagram, they don't necessarily know how to work. in a studio environment or something like that, you know? So like that puts a lot of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
If I were in Mitch's hands, like that would be hard for me because you've not only got to, you could see their work, but you've got to vet them and see if they would be a right fit for the thing. Yeah. And that would almost be, I mean, maybe that's the 20% right there.
Well, we know if we work with Phil or if we work with EJ or if we work with David Ariev, what the results are going to be.
Right.
If somebody just put their name on a list, I mean,
yeah,
you know,
tough.
You know, so
I know people who produce really good work, but are not good in a studio environment. You know,
absolutely.
Like he's just, I feel like he's just skipped a whole like mountain of things that he needs to go through. You know, like that whole vetting system. It's like, right, I've got this job. I've seen this guy's work. Let's work together. Like produce the project, and then that guy's like, right, he was really good at this job. Like he was really nice, really like did a lot of communication, like during the job. Like he's on the list, you know.
Yes,
right.
And he felt like he's just crowdsourced, like past all of that sort of stuff.
So maybe this isn't about the markup. Maybe it's about.
Oh yeah, I think the
natural
markup
progression of the organically having a short list as opposed to asking for a short list, and I think a lot of that has to do with being interactive in the community.
Yeah, I literally have no problem with the markup. Like if you're not marking up, like if you're having freelancers working for you and you're not marking up, then like that's bad business, basically, because that's how you make money on things. You get people to work for you that can do a task or a job like as quick or quicker than you can, or to a better standard, and then.
Or the same standard.
Yeah, or the same standard. and then you like obviously charge the client your day rate.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well,
so you're like, you know,
we won't beat it to death too much.
Yeah.
I just thought it was worth bringing up, and
oh yeah, definitely.
We love Mitch Myers.
We do.
Cool, we do. We just want to see him more often.
Yeah.
We miss his mustache too.
Yeah. Oh man, Mark just brought up a really good point. He said, to be honest, a great way to vet people is to go to industry events like Half Res, NAB, etc. An artist could have an amazing work, but could be a total jerk to work with. And he didn't say jerk. He said
he said something else. You can read it.
He spelled it out.
He knew it wouldn't show up on.
He could be a total eggplant emoji to work with.
There you go. That works. Oh man, this is a long show. We got a lot more to talk about. Let's go to some links. It's only been 2 hours.
Yeah.
Right?
I think we do have maybe another hour left. See, I think I called it the 3-hour show. Links. What? I said I think I called it on the 3-hour show.
Never going to get my puppy, am I?
Sure you will. All right. Link number 1, how to fix corrupt Cinema 4D files. There's nothing worse.
We talked about this, didn't we?
Oh,
I'm pretty sure
this is from the Slack. Tokyo Megaplex is looking for this, and Christoph sent this link. And
yeah, basically you copy and paste, like you take a good file and you take a bad file and you copy like the last little bit in the good file into the bad file, and then it works.
It doesn't really happen that often, but it's happened to me like maybe once or twice. But
I mean, I've got the number one thing when you install Cinema, set up your autosave and set it to go every 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, the most you lose is 5 minutes worth of work.
That's literally the first thing to do.
Because it's not actually, I don't think, a Cinema 4D issue. It's like a file system issue. You know, your file system screws up when it's saving and it doesn't write something correctly. Then all of a sudden all your work's gone. But that's why increment saving's good. That's why auto saving's good. That's why having Dropbox history is good. Because even if you are auto saving or increment saving, if you're increment saving or just saving in general to Dropbox, even if you didn't increment save, you could go back to history on Dropbox and say, oh, give me the one from 5 minutes ago.
Now, here is a problem with that. If you're working on a really, really big file,
it's huge. it doesn't
really,
sync
really
by the
big
time
file.
you save
It won't
again.
sync by the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you have to go back a little bit of a way.
Yeah,
you could lose a whole day, if
like
you're
a
constantly
dangerous way
resaving.
to live.
And Noseman says no autosave. Why no autosave?
He's joking. He's gotta be joking.
He just likes to live on the edge. Now, I don't like how you use autosave.
That all my projects are just autosave.
You just start all your files and never save.
Yeah, I do both. I autosave and I save. Like,
the first thing I do when I open Cinema is I do file save before I do anything.
Oh, yeah.
I just like getting into it though. Like I like doing the work. You know, I don't like dealing with the. I mean, autosave is fine.
Well, you must like doing the work because you do it twice.
No, that's not true.
Sometimes.
Because it still autosaves my untitled 06 version.
Right.
You know,
I just
have to bring it in there. Right. No, I don't do final anymore. No.
Anymore. Yeah. Yeah.
Those are for the rendered files. Come on, dude.
Noseman manual increment save. Yeah, totally. I do that all the time.
Oh yeah, I do both. Save. I do both.
And it's usually
I do both.
It's
if
usually
I know
before
I'm going
and after.
to I will do an increment save if I know I'm royally going to change something with my scene.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I want to go I don't increment save every single time. That would be ridiculous. But I do have my autosaves going on. I increment save when I know I'm like, okay, I'm going to try something and this may F up everything, you know?
And
that's when I increment save.
The way to do it is to save first before you increment save.
Yeah, I've messed myself up a few times not doing that.
Because if you don't do that, then you have that version, but you don't have the version from right then. You have it from, say, 10, 15 minutes ago. You got to save, then increment save.
Right.
Life hacks.
Hey, so there was, this just came up on the Octane Slack channel in our Slack.
Yeah.
Apparently the Nvidia drivers.
Breaking news.
418.81 will break Octane.
I said that earlier.
So don't. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Was I eating food and not paying attention?
Probably.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, well, that was in our Windows Update suck segment, which is
that was like 45 minutes of the show, Matt. Where
sorry. Well, I'm sorry. You guys have just been talking about things that I weren't a part of for like an hour and a half.
Things you had FOMO on.
London.
Oh dear.
London jokes. Some other links we got
Let's
here.
Go get ourselves some bangers and
put another shrimp on the bobby. Wait.
No.
Get ourselves some tea and crumpets.
I'll go to the loo.
Get on the lift. Take our car with the bonnet.
Watch out for the lorry.
I did when I was in college. So we had to create these like stupid edited videos. We had to basically show that we were shooting, you know. And so I redid the scene from Pulp Fiction, where he's saying, you know, in England it's not called a quarter pounder, it's called. And then I would have one of my friends pop up. Right? No, I don't know. I have one of my friends pop up in the back, you know, anytime they'd say something, he goes, you know, in London, we actually call rocks shiny pebbles, or just random.
Just fake things, just coming up with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he'd pop back down, and then they'd continue the whole thing. It was really funny.
Let's go eat some chicken Nando's.
I love the Dick Van Dyke style.
Yeah.
Oi, Mary
Poppins.
It's Mary a lovely Poppins. All the day with Mary. Oh. Anyway, other links I got here inside. This is CNN. Inside the Pentagon's race against deepfake videos.
Hey, that's funny. Jules is on the chat. He said, "Yep, change in 1418 driver is breaking Octane. They're working on a fix ASAP."
Dude, sweet. I love that everybody shows up for this. That's great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. Then we got.
What does that mean? What's six bong?
The Motion Plus design Los Angeles 2019. This is in end of February. Barton sent us a link to this. He's like, y'all got to go. I think People's going to be there. Check that out. I would love to go, but honestly, there's just too much going on right now. Got to get some work done.
Yeah,
Right.
I've been to one of those meetups when I was doing some work in LA, and it's amazing. We had Tim Clapham was there just before SIGGRAPH and did his whole like fields and volumes and all of that presentation beforehand. So at least I got to see
Jules
that.
says he'll be there speaking.
Oh,
There you go.
nice. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Now I really want to go. Is there a cheap Southwest ticket? I'll just go for a day.
I think there is, actually. I
Jules,
just saw it. Fly to
Beeple.
LA.
Jules, Beeple, Barton will be there hanging out. Man,
6 bongers have been. Okay, 6 o'clock. Okay, that's funny.
6 bongers of Big Ben. Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
If only Big Ben worked. I was upset I didn't get to see Big Ben. Won't be able to for like 10 years.
Book now.
Oh, look,
Yeah, $99.
Phil's muted again.
Phil, are you muted?
I am, yeah.
There you go.
I'm trying to mute every time I cough, but
Right.
keep forgetting.
Now, there is a slew of links, Phil, that you sent me that I'm just going to
Yeah.
go through real quick. If there's anything in
Yeah, this-
particular.
What day is
Super.
that? Is that thing again, Dave?
I don't remember. You'll have to look it up. Motion Plus Design, Los Angeles 2019. I want to say it's the
Okay.
last week of February.
Mm.
February 31st.
February. All right, now I'm going to look it up because I know there's no February.
And Chad Ashley's going to be there. Oh, man, you guys. You're making me spend
You
money.
guys. Okay,
Man.
here we go.
Okay, can we go for
Andrew
a day?
Kramer, people.
Andrew Kramer, too.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Woo. Tickets are $75.
That's
Jesus is going to be there.
Jesus.
Oh, I
it's
bet
gonna-
Octane Jesus will be
February
there.
23rd. All right, February 23rd.
Mm.
$73 one way to fly.
Well, I'm
What?
pretty sure we need to come back, so.
Right. Okay.
The Southwest? Oh, that's...
Yep.
Oh, gosh. Okay, we might be going. Dang it. Oh,
right.
all right. Okay. All right, let's blow through these links so we can get to some people's people and get out of here
Yeah.
within the 3
Phil's
hour mark.
links. Phil's links.
Yeah, there you go. The terraindomain.com.
Yeah, so after we were doing the photogrammetry stuff, I found this website, which they've basically, I don't know if they've used drones or whatever, and they've gone out to like places in the States and kind of like taken photogrammetry of, like the Trona Pinnacles and like things like that, where they're like really quite famous like rock faces and things like that. And they've done that process where they've done photogrammetry. You get like a high res mesh, like sort of what you were saying about before, Matt, where you take like a low res mesh and then have high res displacement on top. And yeah, they're pretty cheap. They're like less than $100, but they're like super high detail, like 16K maps and stuff like that. So any kind of terrain that you need, and if it needs to be real life, then that's the website to go to. Kitbash 3D have got a couple of new packs out, supercars and drones.
Ooh.
They're pretty cool, and they're all modular as well. So you can take the body off one, take the wheels off another, etc., and just like mix and match. Which I thought was pretty cool. Cavalry, which is like an After
Oh,
Effects.
yeah.
Yeah,
After
we talked about
Effects
this
kind of-
last week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really cool.
$200, Dave, round trip.
Man. For both
Come
of
back
us?
Monday. No, each.
Okay, we'll talk about it after the show.
All right.
Grayscale Gorilla also hiring people.
Yeah.
And they've got a few jobs on
Yeah.
the job board. grayscalegorilla.com/jobs.
Netflix is doing that too. The Netflix jobs, there's a bunch of animation jobs that they just posted if you're in LA.
Yeah.
What else you got?
On aescripts.com as well, Caitlin Kaju has got like a series like with Adobe, I think it is. And it's like, man, just watching the first one, there's so many like little kind of tips and tricks and like plugins that she uses, and there's definitely like 3 or 4 plugins I've already downloaded because she's shown them in this this video, and they're super handy. And that's
She's going to be
really
on next week, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, she is?
Yeah.
Good.
That's like, what?
Exciting.
Yeah. And then I've got a few from the Slack as well that I just grabbed from the week. Red Giant Universe 3 got released. Introduces the new Universe dashboard for browsing and applying effects.
It's a bit more expensive now too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, I think it's gone up to like $199 or something.
Five brand new text generation tools and presets for every plugin. And then
Ace 5 Studios. I had this in my notes for next week, but yeah.
Getting started. So Alexei Vozineski from Ace 5 Studios.
I love him.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you about this. So I have been watching a lot of his stuff lately because of all the rigging and everything.
Yeah,
and
he is
the other night,
the master of that.
The other night, do you ever get sick? And so, like, you toss and turn all night and you have these really weird dreams.
Yes.
I had one of those all with his tutorials where I'm like trying to rig up a character and re-weight a character correctly. And I'm just like freaking out and can't get it done. That was all night.
Oh, so, that's the worst.
Yep.
I hate that. Oh gosh, I hate those dreams.
It's like you get those when you're a high temperature or like you're going to get sick, where you just have this like
fever dream
over and
and it's not like it's a long, like drawn out nightmare. It's like you're trying to do one simple thing for like 5 hours.
Yes. Yeah.
It's most
over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Man.
Yeah.
What else?
C4D Cafe has made all of their training and stuff for free. It's pretty cool. Some of it might be a bit outdated, but I'm not too sure. This got shared on the Slack from Mark, I think. MountMograph.com Boombox, and it's like basically just a whole for $50 you get a lifetime license, and it's just like 600 sound effects that you can just add into whatever you're working on, which I thought was pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Cool.
Quite a cool little thing just for $50. I've got a YouTube link that I can't remember what it is for. That's it. It's Fabio Ciliberti, and he's done a kind of tutorial, and he's made some LUTs specifically for Octane. So he shows you like an interior render where it's kind of like a sofa, like a corner sofa, and he kind of shows like this is what you can get in Octane using like exposure and gamma and things like that, and getting the contrast. And then he shows you like with a LUT and like how close you can get like to a finished render, like just from using those LUTs on a percentage or like a full LUT, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, I've
and,
done
like,
that. You're talking about like blending with the original and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because in the camera imager you can add LUTs in now, which I thought was really cool. And he just goes over that whole process and like the looks that he's done, and then he's just given the LUTs away for free in the comments, which is pretty cool.
Dude, this boombox thing on Mount Mograph is super cool.
Yeah, it's really cool, isn't it?
Liam says the guys from Workbench will be joining the Monday meeting this coming Monday.
Oh, cool. Sweet.
Putting that out there.
And someone posted this, which I thought was really cool, because I am totally like one who does this, where I'll get a model and it'll just end up in a folder and I'll never be able to find it ever again, and I forget that it's there. And basically this designconnected.com is an asset manager. So, and it has a C4D plugin and all of this sort of stuff, so you can create thumbnails of all of your like models and things like that. Obviously there's a little bit of quite a lot of work if you have a lot of models to kind of get into that process, but obviously once you get into that process and start like documenting all that stuff, it's so easy to then like add keywords and have it all searchable and all that sort of stuff, which I thought was really good. The
best I've been able to do with that is in my projects in the C4D folder. I'll put my raw models in a folder called models, so at least if I search for models, I'll find them. But man, it's such a hard thing to do. Like, you know, how Matt's talked about this before, how many times you go to Polygon and download this same exact texture.
Yep.
Like the 20.
I finally created a folder called Polygon Textures.
Yeah.
You know,
but it fills up hard drives so quick as well.
Yeah,
like doing that stuff, like
Dropbox, baby.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Dropbox business.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
Is that it for your links?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
That's all the links I give in. Yeah.
Now, before we go, it's the little Beeple's people.
Do we have to?
Peoples, people, where'd you get that grable? Peoples, people, what's up with that guy?
Let me get my people viewer of choice.
Viewer of choice. I'm going to bring up my Beeple viewer choice. We're going to go to January 29th, year of our Lord 2019. I usually have my Beeple viewer of choice pulled up beforehand, but I don't today.
Me neither. Do you use Twitter?
I use Twitter. That's my Beeple viewer of choice.
Cool.
So
my Beeple viewer of choice is whatever Dave puts on the screen.
Right. All right. Do I have this right? I swear this. Okay, I looked at this the other day. The date's changed. All right,
Chad, you're right. Chad, you're right.
What did Chad say?
He said, "Make a junk folder in the content browser." That's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This is actually it's January 30th from what this says. That's really weird because it's not what I put in yesterday.
It says 29th on Twitter.
That's wait. Well, why does this say Look, it says 30th right here on Twitter.
Weird. It says 29th on mine.
That's so weird.
That's because it was on
Time
the
difference.
29th in your world.
But it was
Time difference,
29th for me
yeah.
yesterday.
Ooh.
When I wrote, I don't know. Anyway, We Were Giants is the one that we're looking for. And I thought this is a good one to bring up because we talk about the big people's people and the little people's people, which we figured out last week that the little people's people are human-sized.
Yeah.
Because of the giant fetuses.
Yeah.
In the Amazon Fulfillment Center. You know, normal stuff like that. So
I thought this kind of looked like, you know, the end scene in Planet of the Apes.
You blew it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn you to hell.
Damn you.
I love you, Dr. Zaius.
Damn you, dirty space.
Yeah.
So it almost looks like this has been around for so long that the Big Beeple's people astronaut decomposed from within inside the suit because you know, he's enveloped and you only see the top of him, and throughout the years the decomposed body has been excavated and now there's other things in here. It looks like people are using it to store things or something like
I didn't see that.
But that gives you an idea on this particular planet how long these people have been here, long enough to decompose and for there to be remains. So we're talking about a long span of history at this point. So
enough time for people to shrink, maybe.
Next we've got, January 30th, but who knows? Reformat is what we're looking for. This says January 31st. See, okay, what happens if I refresh? I'm just curious. Is it gonna change back? And nothing happened.
Now it's February 1st.
Right. All right. Reformat.
Neat.
This is
the only way to start over is to kill the task. These are robots. They wanted to start over, and so they kill themselves.
Well, they kill themselves?
So that they can get rebooted.
You don't think that this military dude standing here reformatted them?
Nope, not at all. Or maybe.
To me, it seems like they fought off like a robot army or something. Or it could be aliens who were trying to stop them from terraforming one of these planets. We haven't had anything like that come up yet. You know, what happens when you run into other people while you're trying to terraform? You know, what if it was a planet with methane, breathable methane, and it was valuable to one planet, but not to them? They're trying to re-terraform and make it breathable oxygen, and the methane breathers were upset. So they reformatted.
I don't know.
I thought it was a future reenactment of the Logan Paul YouTube video.
Oh, God.
Wait. I don't know what that is.
You don't know the Logan Paul thing?
No.
Where
He went into these woods in Japan.
He went into the suicide forest in like Japan or something like that, and then found someone who had killed themselves.
Oh, geez.
And put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then like got a huge backlash about it, and YouTube like dropped him or something like that. I don't know.
I
It was
remember this.
Logan Paul is stupid. YouTubers are dumb. I say this as we're broadcasting on
as
YouTube.
we're broadcasting on YouTube.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's gone down.
Yeah.
YouTubers
And
are dumb.
lastly, we're going to look at February 3rd, which I think was actually February 2nd. Superbowl MMMXXXV.
I love his tweet that he put about the Super Bowl,
Mhm.
and that he said, "I'm super excited about the big game," and then he put 3 basketballs. That was my
did he?
favorite thing.
Oh, that's
3
great.
basketball emojis.
Oh, Mike.
That's pretty. That's super cool.
Yeah.
You know,
It reminds
robots
me
and football.
it reminds me of the XFL.
Nah,
Remember that?
it's like the Fox robots.
Oh,
right?
yeah. The
That's
Fox
what that reminds me of.
NFL
Yeah.
robot. Yeah. But that's the one he did for the big game, as they call it.
The big game.
Yeah. So
Word.
I accidentally left my Beeple at my parents' house in their living room. And
Oh, yeah.
I
Did it have batteries in it?
Yes. So
Oh boy.
I accidentally left it there, and after Christmas, I was like, "Where is
Oh
my
gosh.
Beeple?"
Did your parents freak out?
No, they knew what it was. They already.
Okay,
they
okay.
Knew, yeah. But they were like,
Because if you haven't heard the Beeple, like the actual toy Beeple with
Oh, yeah.
batteries in, it is the scariest thing in the world.
well, and it can start going off a lot and get annoying, and that's
Mhm.
exactly what happened. Is I was like, where did the Beeple go? And my mom was like, oh yeah, your dad got super annoyed by the Beeple, so he turned it like face down and stuck it in a corner or something. So he's like sitting in the corner in timeout.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So.
That's really funny. I
Oh
have
man.
2 of them.
Well, we didn't hit 3 hours, and I'm kind of
That's okay.
with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here. I'm gonna go get a puppy.
Phil, thanks.
I'll show everyone my puppy next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the
Oh,
show.
jeez. No, we'll hear it, right?
I
Evan
really
said
hope you don't.
Evan said XFL is coming back. Yeah, I think I heard that too. They're bringing
Yeah.
it back. They're bringing it back, just like the Szechuan sauce.
Yep.
But we're gonna get out
All
of here.
things- Dude, have you seen that? Like they brought back Roswell on the CW, and they're bringing back Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but it's basically just rehashes of the exact same story.
Ugh.
Pretty soon,
Oh.
the CW will
Back
just
in
bring,
my day,
the CW will bring back the CW.
right?
It'll get like
No,
super
no.
meta.
CW will bring back the WB.
WB.
'Cause that's the WB.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll get
That's
the
what it was
frog.
before.
Michigan J Frog will come back.
Right?
Yeah. Anybody remember that?
That's funny. I do. Yes.
All right, let's get out of here. You can rate us on iTunes, leave a review. You can also subscribe to us on your podcatcher of choice, help get our ratings up. Subscribe to our newsletter. Say you've been there, done that, got the t-shirt with a no Brograph, no Mograph tee, the limited edition Gate and D. Simone. By the way, the Brograph tees are going to kind of be limited edition here pretty soon, so you better get some of those. The,
Yep. You want to be OG.
yeah, OG Mograph. What else we got? The Paul Babb, Feel the Babb 2020 shirt. All the profits from that go to Doctors Without Borders. Paul Babb 2020, now more than ever.
Now more than ever.
And the Render Things shirt and
Mhm.
hoodie. You can get those on the site
Yep.
as well. And we got some other shirts coming to you pretty soon. We've also got the secret shirts that you can get in the Secret Shirts channel on our Slack channel. The Slack channel will be opening again probably at the beginning of March. So
Liam just said, "Are the Cool Fire shirts 20% off?"
oh my god. Zing.
Zing.
Sorry, Mitch. Love you. And we're
Oh,
on
man,
Facebook,
that's funny.
Twitter, Instagram, and of course, YouTube and Brograph.com. And I think that takes care of it. If you want to find Phil Roberts or Raid Zero, where can you go?
Pretty much everything is at Raid Zero.
All right.
Yeah.
Easy
Yeah.
enough, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Did you get Raid ZERO.com?
Zero. No.
Zero.
Oh,
No.
Well,
Raid, like with a zero.
hmm
Did you get that one? You didn't
Yeah.
get that one either?
No.
So you have, okay, so everyone needs to know how to spell this.
Yeah.
RAIDZER
zero. Number zero.
dot com.
Yeah, there
That's
we
it.
go.
Yeah.
All right.
Man.
Okay.
Raids naught. Yeah.
All right.
Liam Pearl.
That's another UK thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
ZER not. Right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get out of here. Until next week, I'm Dave.
I'm Matt.
Have a good
Phil.
one. Oh, I'm sorry.
Later,
I stepped
bros.
on you. I
Yeah,
totally
you
stepped
did.
on you. Let's
Yeah,
try it
why
again.
would
Take
you
two.
do that?
We've done enough
Do
take
it
twos.
again.
All right. Until next week, I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt.
Phil.
Have a good one.
Later, bros.
It's pretty good, I guess. Brograph.com, an online resource for learning Cinema 4D, After Effects, and other motion graphics tools specifically catered to help you prevail as a motion graphic designer.
What's up, bros? Welcome to another Brograph motion graphics tutorial.
With tutorials, plugins, and now a podcast with tens of thousands of listeners worldwide.
Yeah, it's a great community to be part of.
We give you professional time-saving tips, industry news, interviews, shortcuts, and lessons that help keep you current in the world of motion design.
Throw in HDR Studio, take the render settings, pick the HDR, put in reflection, and gorgeous.
I love projects that scare me. When our art director comes to us and asks for something that I had never done before, man, it gets me pumped.
Our weekly long-form podcast will give you the latest news, help you in your file management, hardware configuration, and client relations. Learn about the latest render engines, modeling techniques, and workflow integration while staying entertained. Real nice banana.
Ah, that's so funny. All right. I'm going to live forever.
Our Brograph Talks are a chance to see the way industry leaders from around the globe are changing the face of motion design.
Sometimes you got to make stuff that you're not going to put on your reel, and I'm not here to judge.
The podcasts and talks include people like People, Barton Damer, Nick Campbell, Andrew Kramer, David Ariev, Chad Ashley, Paul Babb, EJ Hassenfrost, Mitch Myers, Chris Schmidt, Jules Urbach, Cornelius Dammert, David Brodeur, Andy Needham, Caitlin Kaju, Zubair Parker, Noseman, Ryan Bean, Casey Hupke, Nick Lyons, Sage, Joey Korenman, Jeremy Cox, Rick Barrett, John Dickinson, Matthias Omatola, Patrick Goski, Brandon Clements, Steve Teeple, Tom Glimpse, Patrick Lundstrom, Julia Simone, Devin Coe, Al Heck, and even Deadmau5.
You get that render done. Yeah, you better frame what?
Our Brograph breakdowns go behind the projects and give you an insight on what it's like to manage and maintain your own personal business or work for a large company. Join us for live sessions, check out our useful plugins, watch time-lapse projects, interact with us, and send us email questions and topic ideas. Or just hit the Rando Render button and do an imaginative daily that'll keep you on your toes.
Take all your dreams and let's do it!
Subscribe today and get automatic updates on the latest tutorials, tricks, tips, and inspiration brought to you by industry professionals Dave Koss and Matt Milstead. We don't care how you get here, folks. Just get here. Subscribe now to Brograph Tutorials. It's pretty good, I guess.